This is Drink Talk, where we try to solve the world's problems one drink at a time. Each week in this podcast, the topics of today and tomorrow are discussed while we sample some of the finest libations known to man. Join us. We are your hosts, Brian and Britt.
Check us out. Check us out. That is right. You should be checking us out.
Exactly.
We got a couple guest hosts here tonight, don't we?
We do. We have Mitchell from Brickway Brewing Company, Brewing and Distillery.
Yes.
And we have our returning guest host, Mike, who can see the top of your head a little bit there. If you want to wave. There he goes.
Yeah, he's there.
Yep. Thanks for joining us, guys.
Absolutely. Good to be back.
Yeah. And you brought the beer, so,
yes.
I mean, even better.
Yeah, why don't you talk a little bit
Hi,
about
the pre-gamer.
Let's get right into it. So we're going from light to dark. We got a lot to talk about and a lot to drink.
Perfect.
So at Brickway, kind of one of the new, cutting-edge things that we're doing is that we're getting into the flavor malt beverage, or FMBs. And so basically there's only one brewery that's really knocked out of the park and done it well, is Sam Adams.
I
don't know if you've heard of them.
I thought you were going to say Zima.
Those guys?
Sam Adams.
They're kind of small potatoes, aren't they?
Yeah, so you know that the second brewery that's going to do it well?
I may have heard of their beers.
Brickway. So, a little disparity there. But, so the thing is, on the can, have you ever heard of Truly? You ever see those in the stores? You probably don't go over to that side. It's like the spiked beverages, kind of like a Mike's Hard or a White Claw.
Yeah. I've had some of those before.
Truly. So it's like a white can, but you'd never know. It doesn't say anything on it, so you'd never know it's Sam Adams makes it.
Huh.
So we thought we could do it, and so we've been trying it out for a couple weeks. And
so is that kind of like a framboise? Don't they make like the fruity beer?
They do, but this wouldn't be that side of it.
Gotcha. Okay,
so
not that sweet.
This would be more like a Zima, right?
Like a Zima, flavored Zima.
Malt. Is there a different process for making these?
It's just less malt, a lot of sugar.
Even though it's a malted beverage, it's got less malt?
Right.
Interesting.
Flavored malt beverage.
Yeah.
And when we pour in a glass, you're going to be shocked to see how clear. It looks like water.
Excellent.
And it would not stop fermenting. And so, which is a good thing, because it's just going to get drier and drier, less sugars. And that's the whole thing. We're trying to reach a different audience that don't like the beers. We don't like the hoppiness. We don't like the dark beers, but they still want the alcohol. And they want to stay away from the spirits. So I think this will reach a new audience, a new crowd. And we're trying out, so we just put some test batches on tap the other day.
Nice.
And we're letting them try it out. So I think we have four different ones, or five.
We appreciate the offering.
And the best part is when I canned them, these are in their coffee vanilla stout cans just to can them. I don't know which is which, so this is going to be fun.
It's like choose your own beer.
You've been on the show before, and you're notorious for bringing cans that were not the actual things in the cans.
Exactly.
It's like his thing.
It is I like doing it. It's fun. It's easier than doing the whole growler.
Well, hey, since you're the brewer, you have that option to do it.
I do what I want.
Whatever.
Right? That's right.
So I need your help, though. You got to let me know which ones you do like, which ones you don't like.
Perfect.
Cool. Do you have them numbered or something like that? Or
1, 2.
Well, I didn't know if you
have a Sharpie back there? Do you have a Sharpie back there so
you
we can
want to write them down?
Number it?
I don't know.
Oh, well, they're pretty obvious. We've got like a black cherry, cucumber mint. You'll know which one's which.
I feel like this is not your mother's Bartles and James.
Oh, I see what you did there.
That's what like my mother, back in the late 80s, early 90s would have some Bartles and James wine coolers, and but my wife would never drink that. But I feel like this is kind of up her alley.
You can use the coaster.
And then it's not so like trashy college kid like you're getting a Smirnoff Ice off the shelf.
Yeah, we haven't come up with a name yet, but we're going to pick, I believe, our favorite flavor that everybody likes. We're going to can that, and it'll be out in the summer.
Nice.
All right.
So I'll take a second.
And I appreciate the swag that you're bringing.
Oh, yes.
This is the wall of drank beers around here. So you're going to make the wall. It's
right. Wait, is this like a...
There's not much there.
The ceremonial sticker placement.
Yes, the ceremonial.
Right.
The Brickway. Oh,
there she blows.
You got it.
Emphatically.
Beautiful. I've got 2 more here, so I'll probably put those up.
Do these have names yet, or is it just the flavor?
Just flavor right now. It's just test batch, and then we've got a couple names we're throwing around.
I feel like this is going to be a huge hit at the College World Series.
And today.
Tailgate.
And the thing is, I haven't had it until about an hour or 2 ago, and I just couldn't wait. I had to try them, and I was actually...
Were you nervous?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like a pent-up little dog?
I would think any brewer is super nervous when they make something brand new and they've never done before. You don't know. You always think it's going to be the best, but then you think about the process, you're like, I don't know, this may not work, which happens a million times. And I think any brewer would tell you that they had high aspirations for something that just turned out to be terrible, but I was pleasantly surprised.
Nice.
I liked most of them. Just one of them, just because it's just not my jam.
I don't know why it made me think of
less talky,
like grandma. Yeah, less talky, more drinky. But it made me think of like a grandma that she always makes that dish for Thanksgiving or something like that, and she's just like, oh no, it'll be good, it'll be fine.
Yeah,
but doesn't try it, and you're like, is it gonna be good? Are you sure about that? Did you cook at the right temperature?
She's been doing it for 80 years.
Wow, this is like water.
Yeah, and the only reason it's not perfectly clear is because I just violently poured it into a glass, so it's just got a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit of haze, but not.
But it will clear out. Look how clear. You would never know.
It does look like, I hate to keep like calling out other brands, but like it does look like a Zima or a Smirnoff Ice.
I'd say you just poured vodka in my cup or something. What did you do?
Comment from the peanut gallery here said that you're old when you compare things to Zima.
Well, they just made
a
comeback.
Yeah, it's totally back out of the market again.
Yep.
So Clinky, guys.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah, cheers.
Clink.
Yeah,
Clinky
let's try
before you
this out.
drinky.
That's Despicable Me.
I like those.
Name that flavor.
It is very dry.
Lime.
There you
Lemon.
go.
Yeah.
This has roughly about 4 to 5% alcohol.
Really?
You would never guess it.
No.
It's like it's dry.
This was Sprite.
Yeah, this
It's
is
Sprite.
No.
minus
It's not
the
even Sprite.
minus the sugar.
Yeah, there's no carbonation there.
There's carbonation.
Oh,
A very, very minuscule carbonation.
Yeah. Well, of course,
It's very
remember,
light.
this is like primitive hand canning. So
Yeah, a Sprite, you could be like, oh, it's hitting the back of my tongue.
Yeah,
This,
yeah.
it's not hitting the back of
an
your tongue.
alcoholic Sprite.
It's very dry, but yeah, you can taste the lime. Yeah, it's like a.
Yeah.
If you decarbonated or lessen the carbonation on a Sprite and minus the sweetness, that's what this tastes like.
Yeah. Almost like a water, but it's
going to be
5%.
Dangerous.
That is dangerous.
This is
on
going to
a
be
hot day.
awesome
this would be
summer
great.
drink. Yeah.
I'm taking that golfing.
Yeah. So actually,
Oh, you know what? On that second
I'm just
drink, I had a
drinking
little
water.
bit more carbonation.
Just water.
Just lemon lime and water.
Yeah, on the second drink, I had a little more carbonation. I
Okay.
think that my taste buds were just a little off from the palate wrecker of IPA, double IPA we were just, tasting on.
actually, that would be last.
Fair enough.
These are.
Can you tell?
Oh, he knows. He's the pro. He's the guy that did it.
All right, here's the next
He's
one.
the guy.
He's the professional.
Make sure you
You got a guy? I got a guy.
get rid of the lime there.
Ooh.
Oh, that one's a little
It's like strawberry?
rose color.
But once again, that on tap or whatever, you go College World Series when it's 1,000 degrees out there.
Is this like a
Look at that.
strawberry?
No. This is a. Any other guesses?
It's like a rosé.
Also dangerous. I mean, at 5%, you just throw these back. Like you're just
This
trying
is
to like
This is a black cherry or a cherry.
This is a little sweeter.
blood orange.
Blood orange.
Yeah. Nope. Absolutely.
You know, there's a lot of people doing
yeah.
blood orange. Is it?
Oh,
do they
yeah.
have a sale on them this year? Is that
They're-
the crop is
Exactly.
bountiful this year?
It was a big IPA push, and then I'm not a huge blood orange fan, but I mean everybody was doing it.
I just had their the Dogfish Head blood orange IPA. It's pretty good.
Yep.
Nice.
Not as good as anything by Brickway, but pretty
close.
I paid him to say that.
Paid me in
These are
malted
good.
beverage. Yeah.
Super good.
FMBs that sound nerdy and like
FMB.
we know what we're talking about.
First,
But one of these is a
First
barley
National
wine. So
Banks. What? Oh, no.
FNB. Yeah.
Oh, FNB.
FM.
Yeah, okay.
All right. Well, while we're drinking on this, should we move into the talk a little bit?
I don't know. Whatever. We're going to do another shot. That's what I'm
These
thinking.
are-
That's kind of what they are. Yeah.
These are
shots?
these are bright and refreshing.
they're crisp.
They are.
They're clean, and that's
I like this. It's almost like I'm doing something healthy for my body. While
it
I'm
is
drinking
super
this.
healthy because it's very low. It's supposed to be between 1 and 2 grams of sugar and 2 grams of carbs. Low carbs, low sugar, low calories. It's going to be around 100 calories or so per 12-ounce can. So it's like
So who would you be marketing? I mean, would this be like a woman marketing kind of drink, or just like everybody?
it's
whoever wants one?
everybody. It's more for the crowd who's not into the beer thing yet.
The craft brewing. Give me the double, triple hopped IPA.
If you go in that corner of the Hy-Vee or whatever grocery store that we don't go to because we go for the beers, but the other ones that want to go for like the mics or whatever, hopefully reach over and grab something local. They're like, hey, Brickway, we've
What
been
is
there.
that? Yeah.
I always try and get as local as possible, but yeah, there's nothing in the field of the FMBs at all.
Yeah, where does
Nothing local.
what is it? My dad's root beer. Where does that come out of? I don't know.
The St. Your Father's root beer, or whatever.
Illinois?
Yeah, I was gonna say it's not. I mean, it's close, but
But
not,
it's a macro.
Yeah.
It's not craft. It's owned by one of the big guys.
Oh, is it really?
Mhm.
Not micro, not craft. Macro.
Macro. Sorry, yeah.
No, that's
Macro
all right.
is like
That's I know what that term means, but I don't usually hear it applied to breweries. So a macro,
all the big guys.
Makes complete sense though.
it does.
Right.
It really does.
Sorry, I'm chugging away on this third one.
No, it's fine.
Yeah, no,
This
that
one,
one?
yeah.
This one. Okay,
yeah,
what's
there
this?
it is.
You
Yeah,
know
this
this
one's
one.
the black cherry.
Ooh, yeah, black
that
cherry.
is. Yep.
I like this.
This
one.
is my
I
favorite.
could smell it
Yep.
right off the hand. Yeah,
This is my favorite so
yeah,
far.
this is great.
And this one's really clear compared to the other one had a little bit of a haze. This one's like really, really clear.
You know,
I like
that could be dangerous. You know, like you have your cup sitting there outside on the patio table, and the son's or daughter or whoever kid, you know,
soda.
Right.
or not soda, it just looks like water. I mean, literally, just looks like water.
That's what I was just thinking. Is like I could be convinced that this was like some knockoff of LaCroix or stevia. It's just like a flavored carbonated water, and then mix it with alcohol.
But it's
Then you're in big trouble.
Yeah.
it's easy to drink, and it's like it's like refreshing. It's like it's just hydrating you. Oh yeah, and also has alcohol in it. So this will be fun in the summer. I'm looking forward to this coming out.
Yeah, me too.
What is this from John? I think it's the type of yeast. Or were we talking about yeast or something like that earlier?
Same yeast we use in our beers.
Gotcha.
So it's a lager yeast.
Oh wow, this black cherry is my favorite so far. Is there one more?
There's one more, and I saved it for last. It's actually one of the front runners from what I heard.
Cucumber mint one.
Yeah.
Just because you said it earlier, not because
It's cucumber mint.
Yeah.
That's all I'm gonna say.
All right.
I like cucumber in my water, you know?
Cucumber water is.
And I
healthy.
like mint.
Whoa.
Whoa, yeah, big nose on that.
Yeah.
Big nose.
Hang on.
It's like a mojito.
Mojito.
It is. It is a
Mojito.
mojito.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, it's like spearmint gum almost.
I get that.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it kind of finishes with that cucumber crispness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still like the black cherry. Then this would be my number 2.
Oh, I mixed lime with the cherry, and that was good too.
Ooh,
So
interesting.
there you go.
Wow. This does taste like spearmint gum.
It does.
Mhm.
Oh, like I just got done.
Gum with alcohol.
That's a new thing, right? That's
It just is as of right now.
Yeah, yes.
You
we're
know,
gonna
I always had
patent that.
I had a friend that wanted to do beer ice cream, you know? And I was like, I don't know about that, beer and ice cream. Like, you don't want to mix those two together, like
It's
dairy
out there.
product. And,
You could do a
But it's
not
out
your
there.
father's root beer float.
but this
I mean,
is
that
this
would
is
be
like
amazing.
spearmint gum. I mean, I would order one of these if I was drinking at a bar and I'm like, oh, I might have had a little too much. Order me one of these, you know. Oh,
I need
cool,
a
fresh
I
breath.
need a water.
I need a water.
And it finishes with the cucumber.
These are good.
Yeah, I do get the cucumber. Like after
That's interesting.
you start inhaling
That
a
is
little bit.
very interesting.
Yeah.
So-
These are good, man.
Yeah.
I was impressed too. Like I sent a text to all the guys right before I came over. I'm like, you know what? I was kind of timid about these. I didn't know how it was going to turn out, and I like them all.
What did you try one specifically before you came here?
No, I tried them all.
Which is
I
fine.
did all those,
Which is fine
because I was kind of worried. I was just like, I don't know. You know, we go through all this, and we wanted to be really good, and it was like, wow, it was even better.
They were all good. The last two were awesome, though. The what was it? Black cherry.
Black
and the
cucumber
Cucumber
mint.
mint.
That was good.
Yep.
They were good.
That's interesting that the mint kind of turns to spearmint with the cucumber.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
interesting.
And then real quick before we jump in,
Yeah.
so our, I guess, conversation beers, we've got our one-way IPA. It's just huge amount of hops at the end, so
Ooh,
it's kind of
nice.
like not quite a traditional IPA, but kind of touching on the whole New England IPA thing, where just a ton of hops on the end, super hazy,
So the
And then-
West Coast IPAs are like more juicy, right? And then
more piney. So you got all your West Coast, and it's a little bit like it's got a little more caramel maltiness,
Mhm.
kind of like that pregame beer we had. So think about like
Yeah.
pine cones, pine needles.
We can
And
say
then,
it. I mean, we'll promote
Christmas.
them a little bit. We had some
Yeah.
bells. We had the
Bells.
Hop Solution.
I've heard of them.
It's their double IPA. So
Right.
Yeah.
So we'll be sipping on that, and this is actually a little plug-in. In about 2 weeks on May 6th, we'll be having this one-way IPA at Brickway, along with our Raja Gaj release, the double IPA.
Ooh, I like myself some
It's
Raja.
the new version, right?
It's the new one,
Yes, I'm excited.
along with our IPL. So we've got these super hoppy beers and or more hoppy, and then we're going to do a food pairing. We're going to do a spicy curry, which is like,
interesting.
if there's two things that go well together, is spicy foods and hoppy and bitter IPAs.
Interesting.
Now, is this on tap right now? Down
Yes,
there?
it is.
Where
It
are
is.
you located downtown?
Off
You're downtown
11th and
Omaha, right?
Right, Old Market,
11th
11th
and
and
Jackson.
Jackson.
You guys don't have any other locations. That's the only one
For right now.
for right now.
But
Oh,
Ooh, something might be in the works.
Wink, wink.
and I've heard Zach, the owner, talk about it with other people and on tours. So it's not like a secret. So we're looking for a second location.
Cool.
It's just a matter
Not
of
not
finding
moving, but actually
right second
in
location
addition to.
in
Uptown.
addition to anywhere.
Gotcha.
For right now. It's so small.
In Omaha, in Omaha or
ish
metro area, Omaha metro area.
So that'd be more a production facility, and then the downtown location
brewery
would turn into a sour house and just main distillery. So those two things would happen there.
Nice, very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
So this is on the menu right now.
It is. I love it.
We were down there. What was that? 2 weeks ago, or was that last week?
It was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago we went.
We sent you a picture.
Yeah, we went to 5168.
Yeah,
and then we headed over to your place, and I actually took one of
took
those
the
home.
one way. I like it.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
I'm not saying that.
I'm glad you brought it
because I brought a sticker and I happen to work there. I really do love this beer. This is probably my favorite. I brought it because it's my favorite one on tap.
Well, I'm glad you brought it because I brought mine home.
Oh, this isn't for you.
I was.
You've already had yours.
My wife, she was home by herself, and I was working late, and she's like, I'm going to go run and get beer. I'm like, oh, actually, there's some beer down here. Get home, all gone.
Oh,
so, yeah,
wow.
I'm like, well, okay, cool.
It's good.
It is good. And she was very happy.
And the other two, just to knock it out of the park, is the Epic Blackout Stout, the 17% stout.
Nice.
That's for sipping. And then, of course, in the can, yes, I brought the single malt whiskey that we make.
In a can.
Nice.
Which is
Right.
awesome. Yeah.
And bring a whole bottle.
Why don't we put that in the fridge, and we'll cool it
We'll
down a little bit?
Right.
So, can you talk a little bit about the one-way, like IBUs, alcohol content? I'm going to put you on the spot.
You are,
Okay.
and I'm a rookie. Remember, I've only been there for about 2 months now.
Do we need to get anything out of the way here? Or do we...
Well, we can still sip on these if you want.
Gotcha.
Oh, and one of these is a barley wine.
We're going to run the gamut today. This is cool.
You're going to make me sweat
That's
on
right.
this. I know off the top of my head, just brewing this
I'm going to guess between 6 and 7%.
ish.
All right. Because it's not a double, right?
No,
So it'd be 6.
Under
probably
8.
It's under 8. I would say low in the IBU. It's a lot of late
Is
edition
it a
hops.
pale ale or is it an IPA?
IPA.
Okay. All right.
Nice.
So the IBUs, when you think IPA, you think really bitter. But a lot of these, where it's a lot of juiciness and fruitiness on the end, it's late addition hops in the kettle. So if you add a lot of high alpha hops in the beginning of the boil, you're going to have a lot of bitterness. These alpha acids are in the 10, 15, even up to the 20% range. Super ones that rip the enamel off your teeth.
Whew.
And so if you add them towards the end of the boil, you're just going to get straight aroma. There's not a lot of isomerization is the process of the hops in the kettle. So it's just going to be more of that. I mean, you've had this. You had the one way, so you get like that juiciness, that fruitiness, and that like that just it's more hoppy than bitter.
Let's start pouring.
Yeah.
And I did
what
want
I'm
to talk about when I came to see you on Tuesday, and you had just finished the Rajagaj, right?
Yeah.
Or you were working on that.
Oh my goodness.
And we walked in. They had a table of how many pounds of hops were on this table?
All the hops.
It was amazing. Like you walked in, it hit you in the face, just like the hops.
It was,
smell. It was wonderful.
I think what it amounts to, I think I could say it. I would say an average IPA has, a decently bitter and hoppy IPA has about 2 to 3 pounds per barrel. That's a lot, and I think we're well over the 5 to 6 range.
Whew.
And it was just a ton of hops.
It was it was amazing. Just the smell of the hops there in pellet form.
Yeah, you did. They were all in those little
the
pitchers.
jugs, yeah,
There's tons of them.
yeah. It was the whole table,
Yeah.
really. The one way. Why one way? Do you know? Putting you on the spot.
I believe it has.
I kind of give you a lot of head on that.
Thank you.
It's kind of coming off the side.
It has to do with, I think the original idea of the one-way was supposed to be just distributed downtown the old market for all the businesses that are on the one-way street.
Oh, okay.
But then I guess other businesses found out, hey, this is really good beer and we want it too. Grr, gnash of teeth. Why can't we have it and just only the businesses are on the one-way? So,
That's fair. I like that. Even if it isn't true, that's really
no,
good.
that's it. I didn't make that up. I had to think about it for a second. That is true.
Okay,
that is
perfect.
True.
And thoroughly entertaining, by the way.
I do like the stories behind the names and all that and how they came to be. Well, cheers.
Yeah,
on that.
clinky. I'll get you some
Clink.
more in your drinky. And yeah, let's do that.
See, that's a lot
There
of
we go.
juiciness on the nose.
It's got the
nice.
hop bite. Right forward.
What are the fruits that are? Or is there fruits in this?
There's a lot of there's no all the fruitiness
'Cause
comes
it's
from
juicy.
the hops. Yeah, that's just all hops. There's no fruit additions, but you get tropical, a lot of tropical, like this mango, pineapple, melony, and those are just from hops.
Wow, man, that's great.
It's
very
not
hop forward.
it's not too chewy, but like a full mouthfeel. It's not too sugary. It's really nice, really nice. This is fun. I could drink this all day.
Yeah, put it in a lane.
I'm trying to place it. Like
Nice.
I very recently went on a. I know this is like a stretch, but like I very recently went on a trip with my family to the Caribbean, and you get a lot of fruit juices there.
Mm-hmm.
And there's something in here. I just can't quite place it. I don't know if it's like guava fruit or papaya or some weird thing that you don't get.
Yeah, it's like
in Omaha, Nebraska.
I get like this slightly bitter, sharp pineapple, but in a good way.
Yes.
I love
just
this.
Finish that off. That way I don't have to keep pouring and pouring. Right?
There we go.
All right.
That's good. I love it.
There you go, sir.
Beer.
Thank you.
Yes.
Do you have one of these?
I do.
Okay.
Because but I'll take another.
No, fine. You said you already had one. Fine, you're not getting another.
I
fair
don't
enough.
have one.
Okay, you can have it.
Thank you.
See how easy that was?
Done and done.
Ask and ye shall
Yeah,
receive.
it's right over there.
All right.
Yes.
Excuse me.
Let's talk about the talk. About the
now that we're
talk.
almost 30 minutes in. That's all right.
Perfect.
Nothing wrong with it. 30 minutes, 20 minutes.
20
So we're more
minutes.
drink than drink talk.
Yeah, and which is fine because we got a lot to get through here. But I did want to talk about the whole point of this episode was to talk about kind of the dying art of communication between people, verbal communication.
Well, the dying art. I think that we kind of start off with the dying art of the signature of cursive.
Yes, that's the first thing I wanted to talk
Yes.
about was cursive and how schools around the country are not teaching cursive
Now
anymore.
in cursive, what was third grade? Was it fourth grade? Third grade, fourth
Third.
grade?
Third.
Yeah, I think it was third grade. We started learning this new type of
I think
not
you
language,
start in third,
but
and
you
then
really do it in
fourth,
fourth
yeah,
for testing
fourth is
purposes.
when-
But you start learning how to change your letters. They kind of look like the letter, but they aren't the letter because it's more loop-de-loop-de-loop.
Right.
Well, and I think it was 2016, the Common Core, which is like an education system that's adapted with almost every state in the United States. Nebraska does not have Common Core, so we still teach cursive. But almost every other state, there's, I think, 2 or 4 states that don't have Common Core. Everybody else doesn't teach cursive anymore because it's not required by Common Core.
You probably found out the reason why they're not teaching it anymore? Did they publicly say why they're not doing that?
I think it's what it has to do with is technology. It's taking so much time in the classroom to teach technology, even though once you adapt it, it makes things a little quicker. It's still extra time in the classroom, and they have to cut things out. And well, what do you cut out? How about this, old school way of writing? Since we're already teaching manuscript, why do we also need to teach cursive? And that's kind of what it boiled down to. They're still teaching them writing.
Right.
They're just not teaching them cursive.
And they're probably spending more time on a computer keyboard.
Tablets and keyboards, yeah.
Learning how to, and I'm wondering if that'll go away too. I mean, I remember in junior high taking typing classes, like learning how to actually use the keyboard.
For sure.
Like typewriter?
Not a typewriter.
Manual.
Keyboard.
We're not that old. Jeez. Thanks, Mitchell.
Even though we
Actually, you know what? Aren't we? We're the same age.
36.
I'm 36.
All right, fair enough. Well, we had a typewriter. I mean, we had one in our house, the green one,
It was like a baby
green.
baby poop green.
Yeah, it was weird, like a yellow greenish colored. Anyway, no, I think that might go away too because it's typing is now you use your thumb to type, and how fast can you move your thumb? And that's another thing that gets me is on cell phones they have the swipe feature, so you can like just leave your finger on the phone and just swipe around the letters you want, and the phone's like, oh, I knew exactly what you want, even though you ran your finger
that's
across
the new
12
form of cursive right there.
Yeah, what's the name of that keyboard? Do you know? offhand?
No,
because there's the
I do not.
QWERTY.
We come to you for
keyboard is
knowledge, and you have no knowledge.
I know that's just a feature of an Android. Like you can't do that on an iPhone.
I thought that was one that you could add.
Maybe
I'm sure you can add it. You can add any kind of new style keyboard
Yeah.
to a device.
Maybe the internet can help.
We don't
watching.
We don't surf the web.
If
when
only
we're
we had a
doing the
device
show.
connected to the wealth
Well, I mean,
of
like
human
people
knowledge.
watching. Well,
there you go.
Isn't it called
Perfect.
like Swerve or?
Yeah, something like that.
Am I making that up?
Yeah.
It sounds right.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
Swerve.
We'll go with that.
Sway. I
It
don't
is
know.
now. It is now.
It is now. Yeah.
We declare. But yeah, I mean, it's a new form of typing. So, like, yes, we're still going to have computers with keyboards and all that, but we're also getting to the tablet form, and that's not really a keyboard anymore. Even the computers nowadays, you can like flip open, and your keyboard goes underneath, and you just don't even use a keyboard anymore.
They're using digital haptic features which is so when you're typing, I mean, you can actually feel the button, and when you press the button, there's a click or something, movements. With the haptic features now that you're getting on the phone, when you type, it actually vibrates under there, so you actually feel something when you're doing that.
So there was some technology that came out.
Is it haptic or is it taptic?
It's haptic.
Haptic, yeah.
2 years ago, the screen, when you went into keyboard mode, the screen bubbled out, and you could actually feel the keys as you're pressing them.
Who did this?
I saw it at Technology Convention, Infocom.
Star Trek.
Yeah, it's pretty much Star Trek. No, I saw this.
No, that was a real thing.
It was a real thing, yeah.
I think it was actually on the BlackBerry 10.
Yeah, it bubbled out.
Which
BlackBerries are still a thing?
No,
anymore.
Back then they were still a thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you could actually feel the typing of it, you know?
Oh, you know what? I do remember that. I do remember the BlackBerries coming out with that, and I remember when friends of mine would get that, and I'm like, that is so cool how technology is.
But
It's kind of cool.
The new way of communicating...
At the time, that was, moving away from keyboards, that was kind of cool.
But the new way of communicating now, and I'm prone to doing it a lot of times because it's just a time saver. I just press a little microphone button, and it does. Google does talk to text,
dictate.
Not
just Google. Everybody.
Yeah, your watch does it. I mean, It was funny. I was at work, and somebody was talking into their Dick Tracy watch, and I just come up to behind him. I'm like, "Hey, buddy, you ready to go?" He's like, "Gosh, I got to start all over again." I'm like, "Oh, sorry. Let me walk away. See you later."
I wonder how that works. Do you have to train? I've never done like the talk to text. Do you have to train it?
It knows generalities, and it can understand you as long as you can articulate well. But the more you use it, the more it knows you.
Don't worry, your phone's listening all the time.
It learns.
It does. Yeah.
Really? So what happens when you mess up? Do you like delete last 5 words? How does that work?
So there's a feature right on the phone that has a back arrow, and it'll delete the whole word.
You have to press it, so you might as well just type.
Well, and even when you do the talk to text, it'll actually highlight certain words like, I kind of understood these words, but I'm not 100%. Are these correct? And it'll, and you go through and you can tap.
I've gotten to that point where I'm lazy enough where I'll get halfway through a long word and I know it's wrong. I'm like, nah, it'll fix it. And when it doesn't fix it, I'm like, are you serious? Why do I even have
Did
this
I just send that?
The heuristics of the phone will actually have it'll derive a confidence level on what it interpreted, what it thought you said. And that's right. If it's below a certain confidence level, then it will highlight it and say, this is what I think I heard you say. And if not, you can touch the highlighted thing, and it'll give you 3 options on what might have been the alternative, and then you just touch the one that was correct.
Well, they're doing that with voicemail now. If you've noticed when you get a voicemail, it doesn't just do the audio.
Who leaves voicemails?
Well, I know, right?
I do all the time.
Your communication skills are lacking.
But I have this feature on my phone that the voicemail, it comes back in text form, so then I can just read the voicemail. I don't even have to listen to it anymore.
Yeah, it's not as good though.
It's not as it's good, not as good.
Yes, not as good.
That's incredible.
Can we digress though? Because I want to go back to the point that you made about
cursive
how
or texting
cursive, right? Let's get back to
the
written communication of cursive that's going away. And when you put it, in that context of a school or a school system has a finite amount of hours to put into their curriculum, it makes a lot more sense now.
Right.
You guys know who I am and what I do, and I argue heavily for pushing what I call digital citizenship or cybersecurity education on particularly teenagers, and the response that I often get is we don't have room for it in the curriculum. We don't have time. We can't add this new content to our course curriculum for our school district because our curriculum is packed. So, we can make it an after-school program if you want, but we can't just change what we're doing in the classrooms because we only have so many hours in the school year.
Pushing out the technology, but not warning you of the dangers of the internet or how to secure yourself from it.
What I say is that the technology, and in my context, because I'm very single focused, in my context, the technology is just happening, and the risks and the new thing and all these things are happening to people. Mm-hmm. The security risks and cybersecurity and new technology are happening to people. You're gonna get whoever these kids are, whatever they're learning in school, has no regard for what the latest technology is going to do. They're going to get a smartphone in their life, right? They're going to graduate from high school if they don't have one already, and they're going to have a Facebook page, and they're going to have a cell phone, and they're going to learn. They're going to be texting. Whether we teach that content and teach those skills or not, That's going to happen. So I like to say that the technology is happening to the kid.
My son is 4 years old. He's got his own tablet.
Yeah. So I do want to speak to you because we do have a comment here from the people watching. Karen, who is in the school system, and she said that they are actually going to start putting digital citizenship within the library media specialties.
You're welcome.
Yep, there you go.
Been advocating for years.
Well, and I know West Side when you
get
a freshman
MacBook.
at White, you get a computer. Boom, here you go.
Yeah, both my kids go to Concordia. They're in 6th grade, and they got issued iPads, and everything's on the iPad.
Yeah,
everything comes in, everything goes out. Homework, all their grades.
It's smart.
It's nice and easy, but it's just like that's all they do. And so I was trying to do some homework here and read about all this stuff, and I guess I felt like I was like that old man telling kids to get off my lawn because I'm like I'm kind of advocating. Like I still don't want to get rid of the cursive because I believe in that there's like the certain motor skills you learn from that, and sure, technology, all this 2018, that's great. You still have to write stuff.
Well, there's there's interesting studies that talk about just note taking. When you are taking notes and you use cursive, you actually have a better retention level if you write it down versus doing a keyboard and all that. And it's because when you do cursive is more of an art form than print, and so it actually highlights those areas of art form, and you actually focus on what you're writing more. And if you're focused on what you're writing more, you're probably going to retain it more.
Well, and if you could keep your pen to the paper longer, you could write faster. Right.
That's what I was going to say. It's a different motor skill. It's a different part of the brain. You're learning different things. Like my kids, both of them, I can attest, their handwriting has gotten so worse.
So much worse,
Oh, man, it's just...
so this all started a couple of weeks ago. We ended up getting this letter in the mail, a card in the mail.
Yeah.
And I thought that I have a 6-year-old, and I thought it was a birthday invitation to a party for her. And I just set it on the counter. Yeah. Well, I had noticed that my wife had opened it later, and it was a graduation announcement for an 18-year-old, and that was her handwriting. And I was like,
terrible.
Oh, my... Like, and that's what sparked this whole thing was like, the level of care that goes into handwriting and penmanship and all that is going away in schools.
Well, here's another thing. Do you think let's pick the 18-year-old seniors class of 2018? I would say a lot of their handwriting is pretty terrible.
Yeah.
Do you think they care that their handwriting is terrible?
So there's things that signatures are still a thing for credit cards. For signing documents, you still need a signature. So what is that going to look like in the future? I'm sure for credit cards, it's going to move more to
digital signature.
Exactly.
Yeah, a written signature is going to go away from a security perspective. Like the reliance on a written signature is effectively gone today. Right. What are you going to do? Check my receipt that my signature matches?
You're going to put
that's never going to happen. Anymore. That's gone.
With that said, I was just at Ace Hardware today. And I tried writing on the thing, and it doesn't
even work.
There was like a dot here and a scribble there.
Accept it.
And it's like
no, that's it.
Okay, it is what it is.
My name is 2 dots and a squiggly line.
I want to see what happens. What do you have to write for it to go? Nope, declined. We don't like that. You could write whatever you want.
Well, the reality is that the purpose of that signature is so that you can identify it later. So that if a charge comes back where someone fraudulently made a transaction at some retail location and they signed for it, you can look at it and go, I didn't do that. Right? So if you just do a squiggly line with a dot, you know what? You might recognize a story in my mind. You might recognize your squiggly line with a dot though and be like, "Oh yeah, I did that. Yeah. I remember doing that. It was terrible, but I did it."
So I was in Oklahoma City 3-4 about a month ago
on purpose.
I was doing a show down there.
Okay.
So my company brought me. Yeah, work brought me down there. Anyway, I noticed there was $160 out of my account just gone. I'm like, I don't remember. There should be $160 more in my account.
Was it a crazy night at the bar? Is that...
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, what's going on? So I went to check it, and it said charge from Comcast, and I'm like, we don't even have Comcast in Omaha. So clearly this is not me. And they're like, well, I called the fraudulent department, and it was done by my wife's card. And they were like, oh, well, we really can't do anything. You're going to have your wife call. I'm like, my wife is at home. She's dealing with kids. How come I cannot deal with this? I'm a user on the account, and it's my wife. Well, it's going to turn her card off. Great. Do it. I don't care. She's got cash at the house, and it's fine. No big deal. Just shut the card off.
Piles of cash, right?
Well, but
mattress.
But here's what it is. You were just talking about the signature and following the trace, and you go, "Oh, that's not mine." I just paid somebody's Comcast bill, And so when I called and my money hadn't been put in the account, it'd been like 5 days, 6 days. I'm like, you guys gonna give me my money back? And they're like, oh yeah. I'm like, you probably can't tell me whose bill I paid, can you? And they're like, nope, we can't do that. I'm like, I'd really like to know, because
if you paid,
not
for
that
it,
I would do anything, but I'd be like Joe Smith, whose bill did I pay? Because it's got to be easily traceable.
And you kept my money for a week and a half. Can I have Comcast for a week and a half?
Right? Exactly.
Or interest on the repayment.
Joe Smith had the same signature with a dot and a line.
Exactly.
It looked familiar, but yeah.
But the account number had to be attached to a receipt of the paid amount,
Yeah.
Had to have.
Well, excuse me. I do want to get into some of the reasons why they're getting rid of Cursive in schools and all that.
Because they're chipping everybody and they're... No, I'm just kidding.
Well...
I went down to dark hole there real quick. Yeah. I was just, that's how you could pay. Boop. You can do it with your phone now.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I talked about the hours in the day. They're just losing hours in the day to what they have to teach to the kids. So they also don't see a major benefit to Cursive versus manuscript.
I can see that.
At least in the realm of handwriting.
Yeah.
Besides checks and credit cards, I don't know what else you'd have to sign for or use a signature for.
I like taking
driver's
notes.
license.
I like taking notes in cursive, just personally because it's quicker. And but you also with cursive you do have to have kind of pretty good penmanship for people to actually read what you wrote.
Oh yeah,
Right.
Oh yeah.
Which brings up another thing: we're going to be able to pass notes to our significant others, and our kids aren't going to be able to read them.
Yeah, that was one of the arguments on a lot of the articles online.
Yeah, and the founding documents of this country are written in cursive.
That was the argument of everybody's like, these kids nowadays won't be able to read the Declaration of Independence
or the Constitution. Yeah.
Here's what it is. A lot of the letters look the same, though. O looks like O, L looks like L, A looks like A, D looks like D. Like a lot of the letters look like
they just
look
fancy.
Can I ask you, when's the last time that any one of you stood in front of an original copy of the Declaration of Independence and read it?
That's true.
By the way, it's completly illegible because it was so horrible.
Ask Nicolas Cage
4 years ago.
There was that movie.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Up George Washington's nose at Mount Rushmore. That's where you got to go.
Well, so that was the argument against it. How many people actually read that and or care? But still.
But here's the thing.
Because we have the digital...
The content of that document exists, right? You can read it. In manuscript or online or on your phone. You can have it read to you if you just ask Siri. Just because you can't read the original form of the document doesn't mean you can't read the content of the document.
Right. Well, it is digital nowadays because you can get it online. But here's where I go. Like in the future, I'm talking archaeologists coming back and looking at like today, right? Everything's digital today, so there's not going to be any history.
You mean aliens, but yes.
Or that, yeah. What if aliens are just our future selves? Right?
Ooh.
That's
dun, dun, dun,
things that make you go,
That's next week's topic.
All right. So anyway, if everything's digital, there's not going to be any history to see. So they have to rely on documents. So there's not going to be a lot of documents because they're not teaching cursive anymore, and they would have to go back and see this document of Declaration of Independence and the Constitution, and they're not going to be able to read it.
Well, here's the thing.
Unless there's a Google Script app.
I was just going to say that. I was literally going to say that because right now you can take your phone and not take a picture of it. Just hold your phone in front of a written language like Chinese, whatever, and it'll turn the picture into written words for you to read in English. So they've already got the technology to do that.
I got to go devil's advocate again, though. I'm going to stay on the devil's advocate side here
I like
all night long.
That's fine.
I asked the question, how many of you, when's the last time you actually read an original copy of the Declaration of Independence? It's very difficult to read. I have a framed copy of the original document. I stole it from Nicolas Cage.
Oh,
it's obviously.
So that's the third movie.
It's obviously a reproduction.
Did you give him the photocopy? Or?
Yeah, clearly. No. Funny story. My 5-year-old, when I asked him, he was moving from his nursery. This is years ago, 3 years ago. From the nursery into his big boy room, and I said, okay, what do you want your room to be? And he says, I want an American flag room. And I'm like, you want Captain America? He says, no, I want the American flag
in my room.
bedroom. Awesome. And I'm like, all right. So we did that, and I framed the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and the Declaration of Independence.
That's cool.
In his room.
Really cool.
So
wow.
Occasionally, I go in my son's room, and while I'm waiting for him to brush his teeth or whatever,
read the
I will
Declaration.
read the actual Declaration of Independence in its original script.
That's
and let me tell you
awesome.
something.
What's the first line?
It is really hard.
We
to
hold
read.
these truths to be
Be
self-evident.
self-evident that
All men are created
equal.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm not going to do it.
Even though he reads it nightly.
But my point
He reads
is,
it in a
though,
British accent, which is like hypocrisy.
How dare you?
It's true.
No, my point is that this cursive script that was used in that document is not like the cursive script that we learned.
No,
and
it's
the
not.
character set is completely different as well. They use like assets and
Well, they were using quills, not ballpoint pens.
Well, right, but I mean, even the character set, right? They're not using the same 26 characters of the alphabet that we use. Like, there's characters in there that are not the same kind of normal stuff.
What is it? The B is the double S.
That's the asset, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's that, and then there's like there's another character for a double T, and there's another character for a TE, and the ampersand is not an ampersand, and it's a totally different weird thing.
What is this?
Yeah, it's a completely different script and a completely different character set. When you try to read that document, and you're like, what is that word? Not to mention that the language itself was completely different when it was written. And we don't talk like that. Like, that's in the movie, right? Nobody talks like that anymore. And it's true.
We hold these truths to be self-evident.
So with signatures and cursive going away, we're having this new technology of sending text messages and emails and things of that nature. My problem with that is instead of calling on the phone, we've got that. We've got the text messaging, which comes off sometimes different than it should. You text this little piece of information to somebody, and they read it the wrong way. They're like, "Is this person pissed off at me?"
Yeah.
Daily.
So like inflection.
You know what I mean? They're like, "Oh no, I'm not pissed off at you. It's just the way I wrote it."
Yeah. You can't send body language or tone of voice through a text message.
No, you
does
can't.
not translate.
So let's just take the.
I was really happy when I wrote that.
Somebody asked you a question like,
It's dangerous
hey,
territory, by the way.
Do you want to go to the concert tonight? And they text back, sure.
Oh.
Now if it's a capital S, okay, all right.
Sure,
Now,
sure is the worst word.
right. So what if it's a lowercase s
Whatever.
with a period at the end? That just means
Sure.
No, when the guy says sure, that means yeah, we're good.
Yeah,
right.
But you need to add an exclamation point
Or
to
a
it.
smile or emojis. We haven't even talked about emojis
Let's-
yet.
Oh, we'll get there.
Don't
Hang
break
on.
the
Let's-
seal yet. Don't break the seal.
But yeah, but yeah, sure on the other end means
Sure.
Or you
Like-
spend 5 minutes writing something.
What's the gender of the sender? That's important.
Ooh, that's a good point.
You,
That's
you
a really
send-
good
life,
point,
man.
You
And
send-
I like that you made a rhyme. Yeah, that
You're
was
welcome.
awesome.
You're welcome.
right.
You send this paragraph, and then at the end, you're like, "Oh man, they're gonna respond. It's gonna be good." And they're like, "K." You're like, "Oh, really?
Well, if
really,
it-
I poured my life out to you. You just read K."
If they're
Now-
really into
now-
you, it's double K. It's the KK.
But now,
Just not the
with
triple.
that said, when you send that message to somebody, we're looking for instant gratification. We're looking for somebody to go, boom, send me something real quick. And at that moment in time, when you send it to them, instead of calling them, they could be busy doing something. They could be under a table, like, screwing a hole, trying to drill something out. I don't know.
That's my mind went somewhere else.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I'm sometimes underneath tables and I'm drilling holes.
I was gonna say, why did you go there? That was weird.
Well, I get I'm doing AV stuff. I'm underneath things, taping things down and all that stuff, and I get text messages. And sometimes the only way I can respond is okay or K or got it.
There's for me, there's like a level of importance. Like if it's really important, you're going to call me.
Yeah.
If you need an answer, but it's not crucial that I respond to you within the next couple minutes, then text me. And if it's like, well, hey, I need an answer at some point, email me.
Well, and I like that frame of thought that you have, but the kids that we're raising nowadays don't have that frame of thought.
They don't want to make a phone call because their verbal communication is going down because all they're doing is texting.
I bet every one of us had a time. I know that I know I can't tell you the day, but I know that I had an experience where I don't know what
Was it
age I
an
was.
out-of-body experience?
No, I was probably 12, and my mother was like, "Hey, we're ordering pizza for tonight. Call and order a pizza." And I was like, "No."
You could just get
And she
online
was
and
like,
do it.
and no, not when I was 12.
Oh,
Dude,
God.
come on,
sorry,
man.
sorry. I didn't hear the age.
No,
I don't know
was-
how to talk to people.
Exactly
on the
right.
phone.
I'm terrified. I'm not gonna. You want me to call like adult humans? No, I'm not doing that. And my mom was like, "No, do it. Here's the phone number. Call and order a pizza." And I was like, "Oh my god, I'm horrified." And she made me do it, and that's like a life experience, right?
And now you can get online and
No,
go
we're not
to
gonna do
Skip the
that.
Dish, and you can order something from That's just one little thing. Skip the dish, Uber Eats. There's a lot of other mainframes.
Well, no, but
you don't even have to talk to anybody. You just send your order in, and you're like, somebody will bring it here soon.
I think that's a relevant point of conversation here. Is like there's no requirement to interact with other humans to get anything you need.
Deposit the paycheck online. It's like I don't want to go to a branch and talk to somebody.
Right? Yeah.
I want to do it on my phone and not have to.
Yeah, I don't want to.
He would have something to say about that. On that,
Well, it's
next
just,
week's topic.
It's just nothing because it's like, hello, how was your day? You're like,
great,
fantastic, lovely weather.
Here's my deposit slip.
Shoot me in the head.
Yeah.
That's
that's why I usually go to the ATM or just take a picture of it and send it to my account.
Was it? I think it was Family Guy. It was one of the episodes, and it was Brian or Stewie, and he's like, "Must we exchange this meaningless banter every time we pass?"
Indeed.
Yep. So I think a lot of that's being lost with text messaging and all that. Verbal communications going away, which is why you hear stories of employers receiving phone calls from mothers of potential hires or from employees because the employee didn't want to make the phone call or doesn't have the verbal communication skills to make that phone call.
Yeah, so that brings up a good story, and you want to read something there. I used to work for Sears, and you could call in if you couldn't make it. They found a workaround. There was a direct way in order to call the phone and press a number as it was ringing. It would automatically go to the voicemail, and they just leave a message. So, like, they didn't even have to talk to anybody. They figured this out. A couple of my employees figured this out. And it was like 5 minutes before the shift. They're like, boop, bing. And then they leave their message and be like, I can't go. They didn't talk to anybody. I'm like, I mean, they did call in. How can I not? I can make a writing, like the way to get people fired is to write them up, but they did their job in calling in. But,
5 minutes before?
But each pay period,
hour.
So in 2 weeks, they could call in, twice or something like that. And they knew the limit, or 3 times, I think it was. So they would call in twice or 3 times. And that was it. And then next pay period hit, they could do it again. And I'm like, darn you for knowing the rules.
Sears, and they're doing well right now, right?
Oh, yeah. This was just a couple employees, So that's why I don't work there anymore. I
do want to take a couple comments here from the people watching. So Karen did basically reiterate what I had said earlier on the research as far as Cursive, when you're taking notes, that you actually retain it a little more. But she was saying hopefully in 10 years they do like a brain study on the effects of technology in kids, on what that does to the effects to the brain of a child.
That would be an interesting study.
Yeah.
What I'm worried about is that, Cursive goes away. Oh, it's meaningless. We don't use it anymore. Fine. That goes away. What happens 20, 30 years from now?
We lose it.
It's not just Cursive, but all written goes away. Because now
goes the way of the floppy?
Yeah, so now it's just like, well, what's even the point of even having anything written? Because now it's just we're cutting it out little by little. Now all of a sudden everything's digital.
Well, for me,
so whenever you go to view a text message, it just reads it to you. Is that what you're kind of saying?
All written is just going to go away.
Okay, in your
where's the line?
Why
voice, stop now?
It's all voice snippets.
Yeah,
because you can send you can send text messages that way now. There's a different button, a little microphone that I can actually just record my text, send it to you. You have an audio file, you play it, and you actually hear my
Cursive is
spoken
not
word.
Why does block print? Why is anything else important? Why do
any
print?
Let's talk about today. We have the technology to take digital notes, right? Today, in our pocket, on us, every day. How many of us take handwritten notes in our daily lives?
Every day.
Yeah, every day. Every single day.
I have a clipboard, and I'm writing down notes all day long.
So you're the one guy.
I'm the one guy who uses the tablet with a
3 out of 4
stylus.
people still do handwritten notes. We just did a study on that.
Yeah. Well, we're a dentist company now.
So
we all whiten our teeth. He doesn't. No, I'm just kidding.
Pretty true.
I gotcha.
No, so more devil's advocate.
That was deep.
It was
more devil's advocate, though, right?
Can I pause you just for 1 second?
You may.
I know that we're getting low on our beers. Do you want to drink the IPA in here and then go on to darker, deeper stuff?
I think we just stick with
stuff.
Yeah, stick with Brickway here, and then we'll, if we need to go into other things later.
Okay. I mean, I was leaving it up to Mitchell for the call on that one.
Well, I mean, he did earlier say that he wanted to just stick with that, but I don't want to put
whatever
words in.
I brought alcohol if you want to drink it.
Perfect. I'm just, what asking questions.
What do you want? Okay, we either do a 17% stout, or we just
17%,
or we sip on some whiskey, some single malt whiskey.
Ooh.
I'm fine with either way.
Let's do some whiskey. We could, you know what? Because during the conversation, we could put our pinkies out and kind of like raise our brow and be like, "Cursive must stay."
Did anyone bring their monocle?
I did.
Wait,
Right, so
I have
need some ice cubes.
There's an emoji for that.
I'm sure there is.
There was something. Chris brought up a point here, and he was talking about Star Trek, and he was saying that they had gotten a copy of the Declaration of Independence, and they actually couldn't read it because they didn't have a cipher to learn what that.
Do we want new cups?
Even though it was
Rosetta Stone.
Yeah, exactly.
New cups. Okay.
Yeah, these are fruity.
No problem. And plus, you still get some of that fruit over there too. So.
Oh yeah, we could mix some.
Now back to you.
So while Britt pours, where I was going to go, I was going to get up on a soapbox. So here comes the soapbox. Mechanisms for communication have been changing since the dawn of communication, right? We no longer use hieroglyphs, right? Weird. We no longer etch things into stone with chisels and hammers.
I have it, don't I?
So then we started writing things on papyrus and other forms of paper using pens and quills and other weird feathers and mechanisms for, producing ink.
Okay.
Just because we're going to change the mechanism by which we do written, I'm doing air quotes right now, written communication, it doesn't negate the value of the written word. It's just the mechanism for writing is now changing. The mechanism for writing is now becoming a keyboard instead of a pen or a quill or a chisel or a stone or, whatever the heck they did to write hieroglyphs in pyramids. I've been playing way too much Assassin's Creed. So the mechanism by which we communicate is changing, but the value of the written word doesn't go away. I can still read, just whether I'm writing it in cursive with a Bic ballpoint pen or writing it with a feather, with a quill and an inkwell.
It still comes off the same way. Right,
it's still the written word. It's just written differently now. So it's a mechanical skill set, but there is the value of the mental state of using your brain to actually write something. Yeah, there may be value there, and I'm sure there is. But my point is, it doesn't devalue written communication. It's just being done differently.
I have something to say specifically on that. It's because you're talking about the mechanisms of change and all that. Yes, they are changing, but if you look at the rate at which they are changing, it is ever increasing. I mean, if you're talking about like cave paintings to actual written language, you're talking tens of thousands of years between that. And then from actual writing on papyrus and all that, it wasn't until the mid to late 1800s that we actually sent things long distance using telegraph. So that's
carrier pigeon.
Carrier pigeon, tie it to the foot, be good to go.
Yeah.
Hopefully it doesn't fall off while he's flying.
Exactly. And I think there was a carrier pigeon that actually received not like a Medal of Honor, but like some high award for.
Well, I'm sure he earned it.
Yeah, exactly. Heart. Yeah, like with a missing wing and all that, and it was crazy. But anyway, I think the rate at which those mechanisms are changing is increasing so fast. If you look at the methods of communication from just the mid-1800s, where nobody had a telephone, they were relying on just the telegraph.
Sorry.
That's fine.
I'm just reading what Chris just said. He said, "Do you trust Google to keep true history?"
That's a fair question.
That is a great question.
Yeah. If it's on the internet, it's true.
It's not Google, though. It's like whoever's the keeper of the internet of the day.
We could definitely go down that rabbit hole of conspiracy theories of changing our history.
Mike? His name is Zool. He is the gatekeeper.
Well, I've just read the whole
There
internet.
is no Dana.
There is no Dana. There is only Zool.
Right.
I am the keymaster, you the gatekeeper.
Right?
And who brought the dog?
All right, fair enough. Cheers.
Right.
What is this we're drinking on?
Single malt whiskey.
Ooh.
100%. And on the label will say honest whiskey. We make
Is this the barrel proof?
I'm going to take a healthy drink of water here
40
first.
something proof.
Oh, this is just
I get you some more?
You mean 80 proof?
Yes, sorry. 40%. Like I said, I'm a rookie at this. I'm just learning the whole distilling part of it.
Smooth. Usually with whiskey, I get one of those.
I do too.
Kind of like a little shake.
I do too.
But this went down like nobody's business.
From start to finish, everything is we do all this in the house.
That's
And
great.
I'm
glad I took a little drink of water before.
You actually, something unique with your whiskey is you use new barrels, which is more of a bourbon thing to do.
Right.
But with your whiskey, you can actually taste the new barrels in here. It's not an aged barrel.
Right.
What is the wood that you use in the barrel?
Yes.
Of the barrel.
Perfect.
Do you use wood in your barrels?
Well, it could be cedar, it could be pine, it could be,
It's not going to be pine.
I don't know.
I don't know how
Sap in
barrel
the-
made,
Pine barrel.
If you
Hey,
want
man.
that kind of taste
I would-
in the beer, I don't know.
This is our gin whiskey.
It's a pretty good chance it's an oak
That's
barrel.
juniper berries.
But I don't know
yeah.
where we get our barrels from.
Gotcha.
Isn't it usually oak?
Yeah, oak. They're like I said, they're. I can't imagine
Charred oak barrels.
I don't
anything
know.
else being oak.
I don't buy barrels,
Yeah,
I don't make barrels.
What?
Probably not Japan.
but yeah,
Just saying.
this is how new I am with the whole distillation thing compared to beer, where I feel like I'm pretty
comfortable.
At
knowledgeable.
home, yeah.
I would, well, it's tough for me to say this, but I would say pretty well an expert at beer.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You feel at home making beer.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
or in the shop making beer.
Yeah.
Well, you know what
But
I mean.
I didn't
On a
realize.
grand
So
scale.
Comfy.
it's the same process when we're distilling. Like this, we're just brewing. We're brewing, and we use one malt, and instead of calling it wort, we just call it a wash.
You
we
just
send
don't-
it over, and we ferment it.
Because you don't put any hops in it. Then-
Yeah, that's
then
basically the only difference. So if you go
and
to the tank,
fermenting is just the
same process, the exact
alcohol.
same process as beer. We just don't put any hops in it. And when it's done fermenting, instead of
boil it.
we boil
Heat
it.
it.
Yeah. And I just thought that was incredible. I had no idea it was this exact same thing.
Yeah.
And
Well,
you
now
could
that's for
distill-
whiskey. So is vodka, and that's a little different, isn't it?
It's a little different, but we don't do that in the house.
Oh, really?
So
Yeah.
the single malt whiskey is the one thing we do 100% in the house.
Something I do like there at Brickway is you guys have the largest or tallest still in Nebraska.
I did not know that. That really?
That still
Tallest?
is custom made, and it's the tallest still in Nebraska.
What would be the second tallest?
One at that place.
The one at that place, downtown.
I didn't realize that
Probably Lincoln.
Yeah.
I don't
being
know.
the tallest was one of those things that we should put that on the board. Like,
Dude, have you
tallest
seen our
one.
Capitol building? It's a thing.
Yeah.
It's a giant still.
We don't really have tall things here in Nebraska. So
Well, that's true.
having a still that's like 2 stories tall, that's huge.
I did not know that.
So it's not like Scotland huge, but it's huge.
No, but I believe it is from Scotland. Our
The-
stills.
I don't know that the still was manufactured. It was built in house, but maybe from
I believe it
people
is
in Scotland.
I think it's from Scotland.
Like they shipped it
I would
here?
say the
Really?
least. The thing I know the least. That was.
I want to see the
quote right
crate that was in.
there. I think it was. I
That'd be
will. I'll
crazy.
verify it.
This is
pretty
very
soon.
smoky. That's what I'm getting.
I don't
Like,
get smoky.
when I taste it. I'm reminded of sitting by the fire pit. Very,
Really.
I get new,
not
new
very
wood
smoky.
barrels.
Not like charbroiled.
It rhymes
smoky.
with oaky. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I get oaky for sure.
Yes,
It's
very-
I say
Okie dokie.
smoky rhymes with
Oak
oaky, and that's what I mean.
Okie dokie.
Excellent.
That's good
yeah,
though.
No, this is
I like
very. Yeah, and this isn't the barrel age or the barrel proof. This is the
No,
just the
which we
regular.
had the other day. That was
Fan freaking tastic.
yes.
Yeah, that was a good night.
That's a life choice, though.
Mm-hmm. It is. And delicious. They also have an unaged whiskey, which is clear,
And
which is
that's
when you
what I was
distill.
sipping on the other day. The
Right.
white whiskey.
Yes,
Yep.
you prefer that, which is interesting to me.
It is.
And that's for me. Like I would use a clear whiskey for mixing.
That's what everybody was saying and making
Yeah.
fun of me that day. Yes.
Well, it's your taste palette.
Well,
right?
because I'm kind of new to it, so
you're
I just,
a beer guy.
Yeah, I'm a beer guy, but I like the white whiskey, which everybody's giving me the highbrow. Like, really, you're drinking this? I'm like, we bottle it and sell it. So
It's
Our product.
Yeah.
I like it.
Are you saying you
Apparently-
don't like
I'm
one of our
sorry.
products?
I'm sorry for liking it.
Shame on you guys.
But to your point, like the whole like, ooh, man, that's.
It's so smooth.
But that white whiskey is really smooth to me. I could sip on that without getting like.
The chill. The little,
It is.
Ooh.
It's good for me. For me, it lacks flavor as far as whiskey is concerned, and I'm a big flavor fan. So that for me, that's what I'm going to use for mixing, and that's probably why you like it because it's smooth and
Brian's a flavor fan.
I'm a fan of the delicious flavor.
Thank you. Thank you. You read my mind.
All right. Okay. So are we getting back into the talk? now?
Yeah, emojis?
Oh,
Can we just do that? Emojis. Like,
Must we?
yeah, right? Poop emoji? Who
I
thought of that?
feel-
Because that's like kind of the greatest thing ever.
I heard
Poop
that,
emoji.
and I don't know who it was. I want to say there's Keen and Peele, and
Peele.
and I
I
heard
love those guys.
I heard
Hilarious.
who was the guy that was the
And I
voice
said-
of yeah.
In outer space.
One of them voiced the poop emoji in the new Emoji Movie.
Oh.
And,
yeah.
And because he was asked to do that, like, he quit acting. Like, after that, he's like, apparently I'm resorted to this. Now, I read that on the internet,
Yeah.
so I don't know that that's true.
I don't know which
It is
guy.
true.
Well, here's
I
the
don't know who that is.
You know-
Is it?
Oh, I don't know. I
Oh, you
I
were
was-
shaking your head, so I didn't
I was
know.
going with the whole everything on the internet is true because I said that earlier.
with the introduction of the use of emojis, I don't find myself using them that much. I mean, I'm sure that the kids of today, that's all they use.
That's how. Oh, you know what?
But yeah, I do the thumbs up, I do the smiley face, but like I just don't have time to search through the
You know, I'm
emojis
with you.
instead
Like,
of just typing it.
I'm not going to go scrolling through looking for the
Now,
right smiley face.
with that said,
I do
my
memes.
phone when I type,
Memes.
type a
Memes.
text,
Memes.
it
dare you.
highlights the word, so I
Yeah,
can
you
click the
click on
word
it.
and I could change it.
All right.
I could do that,
Okay.
but I don't have time to search through emojis.
you do because I think here's the thing about we're talking about kids these days. Cursive. How old are your kids?
4.
3 and 5.
6 and 9.
Okay, so mine are 12. They don't answer any of my texts ever. If I put emojis in them,
Boom.
they answer.
Huh.
So
Interesting.
So you're the hip dad.
Wait a minute.
Oh, I am super hip. Are you kidding me? I'm the coolest dad.
We got to go back to the dentist thing now and do the study on this. Like this is
It
worth
is- I'm
studying.
telling you, if
How many here use emojis when they
oh
text?
my
I
gosh,
don't. I
don't.
try not to.
See,
that's all I do.
there's like 3 that I use like all the time, but really I do memes more when I text.
So no,
Oh, like the gifs. The gifs are funny.
I'm glad
Yes.
you said GIFs and not GIFs. So that's a no
You're
whole.
both wrong. It's GIFs.
It's GIFs.
GIFs.
I've never
Stands for
heard,
graphics
GIF.
interface, right?
GIF.
I know, but the creator of the file type called it a GIF.
I've
Yeah,
never heard
it's a GIF.
That starts with
Really?
a J.
Are you serious?
GIF? GIF
GIF.
is a peanut butter.
Yeah,
It's a
I knew
GIF?
that.
This is a religious debate that
It
we're not
is.
going to get into. Here.
He's the
But
computer
this
guy.
is a real
He's the
thing.
computer guy on the show, and I knew that.
What?
But I'm an AV guy.
It's a
so
GIF.
It's
It's a
GIF.
me. It's a GIF. I'm going
It's
to
a
call it
GIF.
because
So
it's a graphics interface. It's not a graphics interface.
I've never heard GIF.
yeah.
I can't say that outside these doors. I can't say that.
No.
But
Anyway,
of course, all the tech
This
computer
is,
guys are on that side.
this is-
so-
you should
This is
see
like-
some of our text messages.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we'll get into. We'll have to pull one up here after
get
the
like
show.
this
Meme
changes
wars.
everything.
This
Name
debate-
wars and GIF wars.
this
for
debate
sure.
is worse than Star Wars and Star Trek. Like you get between two people on the opposite ends of this
well,
argument, and you're looking for trouble.
You want to see this place blow up? I have seen between those two movies. I've seen like a half of one of them. I don't know anything about any of those.
I'm gonna need you. To
Exactly.
You're gonna have to leave.
Yeah. So back to the.
So that's a different way of communication now.
It is.
You know, Brian and I can send GIFs back and forth or GIFs back and forth.
yeah. We're cringing on this.
Anyway, we can send those back and forth and laugh our butts off because we know exactly what we're talking about. You know,
But you have to have the context.
yeah,
Absolutely.
right
I mean,
underneath, right underneath.
But that conveys emotion more than a text does, and somewhat of the articulation.
and
or-
it conveys more emotion than an emoji.
Oh,
When I say you have to have the context, what I mean is you have to have seen that movie to know the content of the GIF
Right,
file.
right.
To know like where it's coming
I'm
from.
not used to it yet.
yeah, it's not wearing on me. It's GIF.
You know what? On this side, we should change a word that we want to use.
All right.
Mimi.
How dare you?
Wait, maybe-
Whiskey. Whiskey.
What is the word that Stewie uses?
I don't remember.
He uses many.
No, this is from Family Guy.
Yeah,
He's like,
what? I think it's
Oh
just
yeah.
No, it's
Say whip. Whip.
Whip.
Say
It's-
cool.
it's-
Okay, whip.
It's cool. Whip.
Cool. Whip. We're gonna be
Why
here
are you
a
putting
while.
so much accent on the syllable?
Cool. Whip.
Yeah.
Cool hip.
So what are some pros and cons with between texting? Let's get
It's
into
faster. It's way,
Yeah.
well, here's what it is. Sometimes I will make a text, send it off, and continue working.
Did you say
If-
make a text?
Make a text. Yeah. You physically make
At least you
a
didn't
text.
say the texting.
The text. The Facebook.
Well, no. You make a text and you send it off, and then you continue working. You don't get on the phone and you're like, "Oh, how's it going? How's your day? Tell me about your kids. It's been a while since we talked. We've got to catch up." No, it's here. You go. Here's
No,
some
you're-
information.
okay.
I want information back
Yeah,
from you.
texting
your
is
point-
really non-intrusive,
Yeah,
right?
it's-
Like you don't have to take a phone call on the subway.
You also
in
don't
New
have
York
to
City.
answer right away.
You can just
Yeah.
You can can answer a text on your own time. You're like,
So
I don't
you're
have to
saying
answer this right now.
It's
I
more
can,
informal.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you could, for some, I would say the pro, somebody you haven't talked to in a long time, you can just text them. Because if you call them, that would be your point. If you call this person you haven't talked to in a while,
Like, ooh, I don't know if I can hold a whole conversation with someone I
you
haven't
gotta-
talked to in
I ain't got
20
time for
years.
that.
Do you remember how awkward it was when Facebook was like first initially a thing in the early 2000s, and you had to poke someone that you hadn't seen in a long time?
You can still do that.
I think you can still do that.
You can still poke someone.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for somebody
I'm
to
going to
reply.
do it. I'm going to poke someone tonight.
So, it's a new thing now. It's called the Wave. It's so when you're friends with somebody on Facebook, your instant messenger on Facebook will pop up and it says send a wave.
Oh yeah, you're now connected. Yeah,
Send a
because
hi. Now you're connected.
Yeah, because the difference between 2005 poking and 2018.
Well, it's 2008,
It's so
right?
offensive.
Isn't that when Facebook?
It does sound very
2008?
offensive.
No, it was like 04.
it
I was one of the original on the. It was
Yeah,
called
it was
the
04.
Facebook.
That was
I think it was
MySpace.
04, yeah.
No, it was called the Facebook, and you had to have
It was
a
04.
college email.
Yeah,
And
and
you
it was
to get
invite only.
Yes, it was invite only. So I got an invite from somebody. It was like fourth hand through Harvard, and I had a college. Yeah, it was old school.
You went to Harvard?
Well, it was like somebody. I had to get like
The
an
Book of
invite
Faces.
from Harvard, and you got invited. So it will say like member since.
Yep.
Mine says 05 on it.
Wow.
So I'm
nice.
Look at you.
I was like one of the first.
Now I got to check.
You're like a hipster on the Facebook.
I'm an elder. I'm on the board of elders.
He's an OG.
Facebook
Are you
OG.
seeing anything from is Mark Zuckerberg sending you some
Yeah, I get a
residuals
check
from
in the
that?
mail.
Remind me after this, we got to do bad lip reading, and they did the Facebook
Oh
thing.
man, he does look like an alien.
Well, we'll do the bad lip reading.
You
It's
saw,
hilarious.
that's
you saw
part-
him use the booster seat?
No,
Did you? He did. He
Oh,
used
he
it
really?
at the
Oh, he
hearing.
did, yeah.
He used the booster seat.
I just like when is it senators or these old guys are like asking because they know nothing about Facebook and they're asking me questions.
You know who one of the worst was? Our own state senator.
Was it really?
Oh, yeah.
That didn't surprise me. Nebraska's
She-
last. And
Oh
like,
my goodness, it was horrible.
They, Nebraska probably said the Facebook.
No, she's
So
like,
if I've got the Facebook, I've got the internet, right?
The interwebs.
yes, it's a series
Yes,
of
you've got the
tubes.
internet.
The
Yeah,
questions
Facebook.
they were asking, and Zuckerberg's like, no.
Do you guys know what the internet
Yeah,
is?
he's like, have you even been on there?
It's so shameful.
It was. It was terrible. It was terrible. So back.
Communication.
What's a business model for a service that's free?
Oh, we
Senator?
sell ads.
We
Yeah,
run
we
ads.
No duh.
Ads. What is that?
Duh.
People pay for these? Well, I guess we can get into more of an archaic technology. Here's email. That's been
What?
around a lot longer.
So
Okay.
To me, it's becoming white noise.
Calling email archaic is like a little offensive.
because that's how I do most of my business is
It's-
email and phone calls.
How long has email been around, Mike?
Mid 90s.
I would go mid 90s.
Yeah.
You've
Early
got
90s.
mail.
To me,
I still have a
my
Hotmail.
like I would say
Still have Hotmail.
I
laugh at people when I send a message to Hotmail
Well, it's junk
or
mail.
AOL.
AOL.
Oh,
Yeah,
I still have
some
Hotmail.
people still have AOL.
I have my original
Wait, didn't they
Hotmail.
die as a company?
Juno.
Can I tell a completely
Nice.
offhanded
Nice.
Hotmail story?
Netscape.
Go ahead. Off
Alta-
topic. I
Alta
love off
Vista.
topic.
Okay, off topic. I had a friend, a former coworker, who previously worked at a Kinko's, and in the mid '90s, a guy came in and he was like, "I want to print this thing," and the guy who worked at Kinko's was like, "Can you email it to us?" And the guy was like, "I don't have email." And so my friend, my former coworker, was like, "Oh, if you'd like, we can I would love to set you up with an email account.
We just do that.
Go over to the computer over there, sit down, and go to hotmail.com and just follow the prompts and set up an email account." The guy sits down, he types in hotmail.com, HOTMAILE.
Mail.
And he sits up and he goes, "What the hell are you doing? Come on, man.
It's a
You
workplace.
son of a bitch.
That's funny.
What's the matter with you?"
No, I mean, he
Whatever.
didn't say it. Yeah, he didn't say it all the way.
Fair
You're
enough.
fine. It's all right.
It's okay.
We'll get it in there. We're at an hour.
We're doing just fine.
Yeah, hour and 9 minutes. We're good. So email. I guess archaic is the wrong word, but for me, like, it's becoming such white noise because of the amount of emails I get per day, and I probably look at maybe 1 or 2% of the emails that I receive.
Right,
in a given day.
but that deters me as a working businessman that is trying to get in contact with people at different facilities. So right now,
fighting white noise, man.
well, yeah, I'm in charge of 4 hotels right now, and so I am sending out probably 14 emails a day just saying, oh, hey, you've got this event coming up. I literally subject line, name of event or name of company at the hotel that they're at, and I've got those 4 hotels. So, it keeps my mind at ease because they'll send the email back and it's like, oh, at Sheridan. Okay, cool. Gotcha. You're at Sheridan. Let's talk about that. But when they don't respond, that's what gets me, is I'll send an email out and a week later, I keep track of all of that. There's spreadsheets that I have because I have to, because I'm doing 80 emails every 4 days,
Your numbers are making me just laugh. You realize that? So I work in cybersecurity.
Well, yeah, you're different.
But
you're cybersecurity.
But I'm also I'm basically...
I'm saying I send out 10
I'm basically
emails,
an
15
executive.
emails.
I work in executive leadership at a pretty large organization-ish.
Yeah.
And I receive about 2,500 emails a day to my inbox.
So,
I send
what?
about 200 emails a day.
What?
From my email.
Nobody got time for that. You got a quick fill. Bloop, bloop, bloop.
No, that's all I do.
How do you have time
crank
to
them out?
Yeah. How do you have time for 200
It's a
emails?
wonderful question. I would love for you to ask that question to my boss.
How?
Are you? Those are real numbers. That's a real thing?
I have it on my phone. I will show you.
So you can hold up your phone, and if you just refresh, you're just getting like, is that?
I receive emails.
That's 100 an hour?
At a rate higher than I can respond to them.
100
or
an
delete
hour.
them. Yeah.
All day long. Then that's
pretty much.
So during the day is probably more.
Well, in an 8 hour workday.
So he's got 300 emails sitting on his phone right now.
No.
Or more.
I have
probably way more.
Well, I have 2,798 unread emails in my inbox right now.
All right.
And but
that's when I step it up.
So those
after
people
a week
that don't
and call.
respond to your emails,
yeah,
they get a lot of emails.
Exactly. And then that's when a week later or 2 weeks later, that's when I pick up the phone and I just call them directly. Because then they're like, oh, yeah, thanks for reaching out to me. I'm like, well, I reached out to you about a week and a half ago.
So here's an interesting statistic, though. At my organization where we work, we have like a really high-quality spam filter, but we block of the inbound email that comes to my organization, our whatever domain, the email that's coming through the filter, we block 60% of the email that comes in, right? So we're getting about 2 million emails a day coming through.
Sure.
And we're blocking over 1 million of them just at the spam filter. So there's less than 1 million emails that are going into people's inboxes. But even those, like the spam filter is not 100%. There's tons of false positives.
So being as though this is a recorded show and you're an IT guy and all that stuff, and I want to say this clearly right now that this is going to be my product and you're probably going to help me out with this. So there is a spam filter that we have for emails, right? And we have Mr. Number, right, for taking out block calls. But there is not a spam text message filter.
You can block incoming text messages.
Just saying. There's something there.
Yeah.
I think that's interesting. A blockage, because now I'm receiving text messages for things that I may or may not have inadvertently gotten into, and I didn't realize that I was going to be getting that text message.
So I'll tell you this: we are so far off from like the demise of Cursive, but I'm going to do it anyway because it's my show.
Well, it's written communication.
It's written communication. Yeah.
So
that's what we should have called it. Written communication.
So you're right. That doesn't really exist. So there's a thing called PCI. Everybody heard of PCI? No, of course not.
I have.
It's the credit card data security standard.
P.
If you take credit card numbers in exchange for goods and services, then your business is subject to PCI compliance.
Oh, gotcha.
You have to do the thing to secure the credit card numbers.
Yeah. Do you want me to text that to you? Boop.
Yeah. The answer is no. Don't text me your credit card number. That's essentially
or
illegal.
the receipt.
The latest version of PCI has deprecated, means no longer allowed, SMS text messages as the mechanism for two-factor authentication. Do you guys use two-factor authentication?
Yeah.
For things. Yeah. SMS is no longer allowed.
It's kind of annoying, actually.
It is. SMS is no longer allowed or approved for as two-factor authentication under PCI compliance. You fail if you're using SMS.
Yes. I'm not. No, absolutely not.
He's using iMessage.
Because SMS is too easily spoofed and too easily man in the middle.
Yep.
It's not a secure form of communication whatsoever.
Just like you shouldn't be using Internet Explorer, or you shouldn't be using what's the Safari. You shouldn't be using
fax
low
machines,
grade.
but we still use them.
Fax machines circumvent HIPAA.
Yes, I learned that from you today. I learned from Mike.
That's a dying art form right there.
No, it is not.
Dying art form of communication is fax machines.
No, we use them every day.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Hospitals.
Crazy.
Listen
oh, well,
up.
You said dying form.
Oh, you see what I did there?
Here's your.
It's funny because it's punny.
Here's a golden cybersecurity nugget of the day. Hospitals use fax because they want to circumvent HIPAA, because the transmission of health information electronically is not it's subject to all the HIPAA rules, but they think if I do it with a fax machine, then it's an analog transfer of data, not a digital. Here's the thing. Nobody uses analog fax machines. Everything is e-fax now. When you get a fax, it drops into an email inbox. That's a digital transmission of data now.
We have analog
that doesn't
fax
work
machine.
anymore.
Yeah. We only have analog fax machines.
Of course you do.
And hospitals still use beepers.
1997
Do they
called.
really?
Well, yeah. I mean, you know, you're on call.
They
Like,
still make them, you know.
boop. You know, you're like, okay, cool, I'll come in. You know.
You
Yeah,
couldn't
they
just
still
find a way to text everybody's
what's the beeper people? ATS beeper people?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
the
still
building's still there.
still there right off of Dodge. Or
You can't make
not
your
off Dodge.
employees accept a text message from work, because then they're required to have their personal phone on them, which means that then the organization has to pay for the phone bill.
This is stressing me out, man. This is.
Welcome to my
So
life,
the beeper
man.
people are still
You
around.
know what? I just make beer. Can we just make?
Can we get back to that? Can we get back to making beer?
Oh my
and,
gosh, this is intense.
Yeah, right.
All right. Well,
I love it, though.
Let's get away from email and move into Snapchat.
Ooh, so you send a thing and then it's there and then it goes away.
Are you a Snapchat?
False.
I do not snap.
It's
Okay.
doesn't totally go away.
Every single snap that was ever created or sent or received by anyone is on a server in California.
But Mike, they say it's deleted.
They
Nay,
they
that stuff
say
is-
it's deleted.
It's deleted from your device. It is not. It is not deleted from their device.
But Mike, how could that be? How could they lie to us and tell us that?
They didn't lie. It's in the terms of service.
but people
That
don't
nobody
read,
reads.
Yeah, nobody reads that because they ain't got
the
time
latest.
for
Ain't nobody got
The latest iOS update was like 11.3 whatever. So the terms of service on Apple iOS 11.3 that you agreed to and clicked the agree and accept button
Because you
when
can't
did
use
the
your
update,
phone if you don't.
when you did the update was, drum roll, 146 pages long.
that. Whoa!
Did you see the? I think it was the city council that actually read.
You
the
gave
terms
away your
of
blood
agreement.
type.
They read the word for word read the terms of agreement for Apple or Google or one of the two. I can't
Probably
remember.
Apple.
And it took them days.
Wait a minute. I think I'm
Yeah, you just got 500 emails. You better answer them.
Liz Dexick.
Brian, I love your response to Chris over here. Read your darn emails.
Yeah, or delete them. I mean, at this point,
Yeah, right? Just go through and mass delete. Mass delete. So, like, my email, I check on a almost religious base. That's my form of communication. That's how I make money, you know? So, like, at any given moment, I'd say there's maybe 30 emails in my email inbox. And I have lots of folders, you know, and I just keep it organized. And it's like, oh, that's that property. Oh, that's that person. Oh, that's that thing. Boom, you know. So when bing.
No,
yeah.
my bad.
Well, it's
Dude, that was just some doom and gloom.
we need better
sound
mics.
effects right there.
These are old mic stands. These are the new mic stands. See, they don't make any
Those
noise.
don't make noises.
Yeah, exactly.
I was trying to reach for cashews. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. Here, let's turn the squirrel
Sorry,
to you.
I was very wrong.
do that.
I was very wrong. I'm Liz Dexick. I said 146. It's not 146. It's 449.
449 emails an hour.
No. 449 pages
Oh,
in the
gotcha.
iOS 11.3 terms of service.
And it would take you 3 days, 4 days to read it.
I don't know. It's 449
So-
pages of a PDF.
Why would?
It's a big book.
Dumb question. Why is it so long? Why does that have to be that
To
long?
cover their arses.
About what?
Lawyers upon lawyers upon lawyers. You're
Because
signing
if
your life
something
away.
goes wrong, they're covering their butts.
Everything that's in that terms of service is like
something goes wrong on their system, and you want to sue them because
which it does every day. My iPhone freezes up every day.
Everything
but
that
it's
happens,
covered. It's covered.
No. Everything that happens on this phone is your entire life. Your physical location, everyone you communicate with, every email, every text message, every photo you've ever taken is on this device. And the terms of service covers Apple's ass for all of that.
We're just going down a rabbit hole here of technology.
Oh, you're welcome.
Oh, it's great.
Don't bring me on the show, dude. You're going to go there every time.
Well,
No, it's fine. It's fine.
I'm not on your level, but I, just level 1, surface level, and they complain about Facebook. It's like people are angry about all this privacy and knowing their information. Like, what did you think was going to happen?
Mm-hmm.
You post pictures of what you're eating for dinner, and then you're mad about
on a
them
free
knowing.
app.
Yeah, like, what did you think?
How do you-
Like, just come
other
on.
than selling ads, how do you think they make their money?
It happens all the time. Like, I buy something, search something, and then like on Instagram, I'll see an ad for something I just bought yesterday. I'm
Yeah,
like,
it's a low
Targeted marketing.
low. I think that we need to move on to our next drink, which is a 14%er.
that was all the whiskey.
Yeah, that was it. I poured it
Was
all
that,
into the
was
cups.
that a question or was that?
That was. Hold on.
It was whatever.
Yep,
can get back
that
to
was
it.
it. So I'm gonna-
Okay.
Wow. All right.
So this is the 17% stout.
Here we go.
Love it.
Buckle up.
How do you?
I love
how do you-
the listeners that are still with us, and man, you should be drinking on some of this Brinkway because it is amazing.
Yeah.
Nice job.
How do you achieve the 17%? Because that's awfully high.
Very carefully.
I bet.
1-2 floor.
Yes.
That's what we call this drink.
Very healthy and strong yeast. And then lots of
Is it
malt.
champagne yeast or is it?
Just
Champagne.
house yeast.
Champagne.
We say, yeah.
Speaking
Yeah,
of
you
that,
only use 2 strands of yeast. You said.
Didn't you say there was?
Oh, well,
this one?
in-house we'll do 2 for right now.
So if
got
I
our-
just bought yeast off the shelf at the grocery store, that's not going to do well for me if I'm brewing beer, right?
Some Bachman's
Like, you
yeast.
gotta have, like-
Baker's yeast.
You're like,
Fleshman. Yeah, so whatever.
this is more like choosing a.
Brewer's yeast.
Well, no, I'm saying that choosing your yeast is like choosing.
Put that
a-
barley one in the fridge.
It's like, ooh, easy, brother.
Nobody saw that. It was hidden behind her.
Choosing your yeast strain is like choosing a stud off a cattle auction, right?
Oh,
Like you're
gotcha.
you're picking.
There
You're
are
really
lots,
Midwest into that.
You're welcome.
I'll tell you what.
My
There
wife's
are
from
lots
Montana,
of yeast
dude.
strains. You could technically go
It's
to
his cup.
a homebrew supply here in town.
Yours is here.
Which is awesome, by the way.
Yeah, and spend $5-6 on the tiny little smack pack, which is just tiny little yeast
Are you
strain.
talking about Patriot? Maybe one of them.
I'm a
That
fan.
could be one of them.
Matt-
You know,
Matt-
we can
Matt's
say
a-
his name on the show.
Oh,
He's-
okay.
I like
we
Matt.
love his
Matt.
product.
Matt's a great guy.
Oh,
Yeah, you go to the
We'd
Patriot
promote
Homebrew
that guy.
Supply in Elkhorn.
Yep.
I'm used to going there a lot to get some smack packs of yeast or whatever. And
What is a smack pack? That
That's a
sounds
little-
very drug related.
I'll get a smack back.
you know what?
Hey
There's
man, I got some yeast.
there are so many brewing terms that have so many innuendos I don't think about. But when I talk to somebody outside the industry, they'll just kind of look at me with that smirk, like, "That's funny."
That's what happens when I say penetration test.
Oh,
I've got some dojo right here. Like what?
yeah. So yeah, smack pack. You just get a tiny amount of yeast, but it's got nutrients in its yeast. In order to get it going, you actually have to smack it
Oh,
To get it started.
to get it started.
that's interesting.
Smack back.
Smack pack. It breaks that little plastic bubble of that nutrients to get into the yeast and start
Let's
it
do
going.
this.
Interesting.
Oh yeah.
Let's do this.
This looks.
Hang on.
We can't see. This is the
El
first one
Porre.
we can't see through.
It's
that we've had tonight.
10W40.
It is.
Excellent.
Cheers,
My joints
gentlemen.
will thank you later. Oh yeah. Oh, you can smell kind of the alcohol.
Very fruity.
And this is also warm, so you're going to get a lot of flavor. Wow.
That is
smells like a
that is a steak. That is a
meal in a can.
Yeah, it's a steak in the can.
that is a steak.
It's a proper stout though, like on the nose.
Well, this is the perfect temperature. You say warm, but that's kind of the misconception.
I know. Yeah.
warm.
A lot of beers
It's
should
a
be
Slightly above or below room temperatures.
well. Just a lot of the people either watching or listening probably don't know that, but a lot
So the best way to drink a stout is to have it slightly
Well-
below room temperature.
higher alcohol beers should be at a quote unquote warmer temperature. between like
to open up the floralness, the flavors of the
just
beer.
any of the aromas or flavors come out of there will just be more intense. The colder it is, they're going to be more muted. So if we drank this ice cold, it would.
And you cracked that at the beginning of the show.
I did.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
You'd miss a lot of those
Good
flavors
enough.
if it was super cold.
Any stout, and I'm not saying this stout by any means, but if you took any type of imperial stout and cracked it open ice cold and poured it, you'd get like these really harsh, like unripe fruit flavors, and maybe even a little bit like metallic flavors. A lot of stuff would be muted. So as it warms up, you get more like chocolatey, fruity prunes, raisins, figs.
And that's why we call the show Drink Talk.
Drink
Should
talk.
know that. That's
Yeah.
that's interesting, knowledgeable
There actually
information
is
there.
a right way to drink beer. A certain temperature, a certain glass.
What I notice most
Nice.
is that I don't taste 17% alcohol in this.
No, I don't. I don't.
I would say I'm an excellent consumer of beers and beverages, but not a brewer, not a beer guy, not anything. But I do have a kegerator, and
That counts.
but having a kegerator introduced me to the fact that every beer that you're going to stick in that kegerator has like a written temperature and CO2 pressure level, and
Yeah.
they've all got their different little innuendos and nuances about how they're to be stored and kept and poured
that you hadn't been
and everything
drinking
that I was not aware of.
Stouts should be a little bit lower in carbonation. You don't want something super carbonated and prickly. That would something would be more like a lager, pilsner.
That's why I like
fruit
nitro
beers.
stouts. They're a little creamier, smaller bubbles.
Whole different type of gas.
Guinness made a nitro stout or nitro
An IPA.
beer, a nitro IPA, and
Yeah, it's like a flat.
No good.
Yeah, it's flat.
no bueno.
They're trying something. They're trying to be cool and hip. They've only been around for like 300 years. So
I'll tell you what, they
all
are
the cool kids are doing
they
it.
are pretty cool and hip. They
still have-
etched our name in glass, which was pretty
What?
straight. Yeah,
that's cool.
Just for trying one of their beers, they etched our name in glass. I was
You know, they
I'll
signed
take
a-
two of those. My name's Britt, and that's Brian over there. So.
You went there?
No, they were at a Hy-Vee. And
I've heard of those places.
And they just etched. Yeah, and they had a machine that put the cup in and
That's cool.
etched it out. And
Yeah.
it was like, here you go, here's your cup. I'm like, wow, awesome, cool, thanks.
That makes me want to go back and try it again.
You know, they
Not
signed
really.
a 10,000-year lease at the
Yeah, I did.
in Ireland.
Interesting.
L. Ron Hubbard did that?
Yeah, no, that's
What?
billion.
What
year.
are we talking about?
That's billion-year lease.
Excuse me.
Yeah, you're fine. No, that new show, Scientology in the
So
Aftermath.
we were talking about Cursive, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. How do we get this train
What-
back on the track? We have gone from train to truck to car to horseback to walking, and now where did we go?
Ireland, apparently.
And a 10,000-year lease.
Speaking of Ireland, speaking of another country, do other countries have cursive?
Okay, thank you for bringing that up. You know what else is going away? Kanji. You know what kanji is?
No.
From Japan.
Game?
The characters, the actually very intricate characters for words in Japanese.
Like what
Oh, yeah.
what I
So,
would
like-
consider Japanese writing.
Yes,
Okay.
that's going away.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
That's surprising to me.
yeah. Because
Well, it's a different art form of writing the language.
So
it's
hang
kind of
on.
just like
So
cursive
is
in
kanji
Japanese language.
Is it? I mean, is kanji different than like just normal?
No,
if I go to Japan and read a Japanese newspaper, is that kanji or is that something else?
So yeah, they have like 3 or 4 different alphabets.
Okay.
One is like kanji. One is like words that are in English that they're trying to translate into Japanese, and then the other is Japanese words that just remain.
So what
in
you're telling
Japanese.
us is that other countries, aka Japanese people, are getting rid of a antiquated technology or language. Not language.
Well, but you're saying that they have
The
4
way they
different...
write it.
three or 4 different.
I can see that.
Yeah.
So-
So the one that's the art form, the picturesque. You
Yeah.
know, this one symbol means many different things.
Yeah, I mean,
So
it's like a-
they're getting rid of the
tells the
music.
whole story.
They're getting
Right.
rid of the music programs. They're getting rid of, getting rid of
the arts.
the art.
Yeah.
They're getting
In
rid of the
general-
arts.
Cursive is an art form. I mean, really.
Thank you for
Yeah.
saying that.
If you think of it in terms of manuscript versus cursive, cursive is more of an art form than manuscript or print.
All right. When was the last time any of you wrote something in cursive and not your name?
Oh man,
Try the ballpark it. I would.
Almost every day.
Yeah,
Really?
Notes. Every time
Brian said it.
Oh, you write in cursive?
Yeah, I write in cursive.
It's crazy.
1 out of 4.
Yeah.
When I was in college, this is a fun story.
I'm not going to reference it.
When I was in college, I was a horrible student, and when I had to go to class,
So was I.
I did not enjoy it. But I read a book one time that
2
said
out
that
of 4.
when I read a book one time that said that Leonardo da Vinci, who was left-handed, learned to write backwards.
He could write with both hands at the same time.
He could write with both hands at the same time, but he could write in cursive backwards, like literally backwards, where you could only read it if you flipped the page over. And he wrote that way because with your left hand, I'm doing this in front of the camera.
Sure.
If you write with your left hand and you write from right to left backwards in cursive, then your left hand doesn't smear the ink as you're writing.
You don't have to hold it.
So he would just take notes with his left hand backwards and write right to left. So because I didn't like school, I just taught myself how to do that, and I have a whole notebook full of backwards writing.
Quick, so you did that. Wow.
Quick pro quo. The person said that this was not Guinness that did it.
Right.
It was a private distributor that did it.
Beer rep, yeah.
Yeah, beer
fair
rep.
enough.
Yeah.
Close enough.
So you would know.
Kudos for that beer
Smarter
rep for
Every
getting
Day.
that machine.
Yeah. Smarter Every Day is my jam.
Yeah. Did you see the one where the guy could speak backwards?
Yeah, so crazy.
Hey, Joel, what's up?
Yeah. Oh, you're fine.
Just saying hello to a friend.
Doing some
Ain't no big deal.
shout-outs. Yeah. No. Do you guys ever watch Smarter Every Day? It's a YouTube channel.
No, but
No,
It's
I ain't got time for that.
Very interesting.
Shout out to
is
Smarter
that
Every
your
Day.
answer for everything?
Yeah.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Check out the
Because
link
I'm doing
down below.
emails all day.
Right? Exactly.
So he brought this guy on that could speak
Destin.
backwards.
Destin from Smarter Every Day.
Yeah.
Awesome YouTube channel. Go check it
Yeah,
out. I will do
rocking
it.
up.
I'm perfectly happy to do a
Those
free
kind of
shout out
sounds
for Smarter
like
Every Day. They're
it's
so
backwards,
awesome.
right?
Is it like that or just like words?
No,
backwards?
that was terrible. So, no, he
Awesome.
you can give him not just a word, like you can give him something to say, like a couple sentences, a paragraph, or whatever, and he will take 10 seconds, think about it, and then he will just say it.
Wow.
And he'll say it backwards, and if you reverse the play,
It started out with okay, man, I'm going to test you out. Pepsi. And he's like, is Pep. and then it would just grow from there.
So he didn't say the sentence backwards. He says the words backwards.
well, he said
He does
that
the whole
word
thing, the whole thing backwards.
But then
in
he
order.
got more and more and more into it, and then he was giving him phrases and then sentences to say.
So interesting.
So
Carly's
crazy.
brother, Bubs, which you know, gave me the nickname Taturb. And I was like, for a while, I'm like, why are you calling me Taturb, man? Why? It's my name backwards. TTIRB. Taturb. I'm like, oh.
Taturb.
Now I get it.
Yep.
Why does your mind work like that, man?
Exurban.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
That's like a
Boom.
long
Nebraska.
I've been here for 3 years. 2.5 years went by.
Yeah.
Before you knew what that was.
Yeah, I had several. I had friends from out of town that were like, "What is this?" I'm like,
Yeah.
"It's Nebraska."
Should we say it backwards? Is it? Nebraska.
Outstanding.
Oh, all right. So we went through Snapchat.
No, we didn't really, but I mean,
We touched on
we
it.
said that it was a thing that got deleted, but it really doesn't get deleted. But it's
But
there.
it's a that completely eliminates the written word, doesn't it? You can add a small caption to a photo, but really the communication channel there is just let's all take pictures of what's happening and
any of
just
you on
It's not even
Snapchat?
pictures; it's videos. You can do Snapchat videos.
Like what? Like a
I have a
10, like
Snapchat
10 second
account.
or
Yeah,
a 14
10
second
seconds.
video?
10-second video. They're
just-
very
yeah.
small, short videos.
It's just videos. So you
Or pictures.
You were on it.
I
Are
have
you two
it.
on it?
But
No, I mean
I
I
don't-
have a Snapchat account, and I'm linked to maybe 3 people, but it's just there because the Hive did it, and I was like, well, all right, I'll be on it.
Everything that I'm bringing up is just a degradation of verbal communication or one-on-one communication.
Right.
So that's why I brought up Snapchat. We don't need to get delve into when was Snapchat a thing. and
Well,
how long's it been
one-on-one
around?
communication, you can get into Tinder. I mean, one-on-one
Yeah, that's another one. Twitter.
Twitter.
Your character count. I can only talk to you in 180 characters or less.
Which means that I'm going to abbreviate and remove punctuation and spaces and just shorten that written communication into just complete garbage.
But that
But-
becomes
but
part of
to
our
whatever is legible.
that becomes part of our vernacular, and so when we actually
That's
write,
an interesting word that I just threw out there. To whatever is legible, right? Legible is an important word to consider here.
When you're actually writing.
Condense this thing down to like nothing with no punctuation, but as long as it's legible, as long as you can read it or a person can read it, then it counts.
Mike, BRB.
So
Yeah, and that becomes
How dare you.
becomes verbal.
ooh, nice.
That becomes verbal communication, like fave, BRB, or any of those words.
Yeah.
The kids these days.
Well, the kids these days use Tinder.
PIR.
Raffle mouth.
Hold on, I'm so glad that I met my wife way before Tinder even happened, because I just don't get.
I'm so glad that so many things happened to me
Way before
lots
Tinder.
of things on the internet happened.
Right. I mean, I just can't fathom that way of dating. Like, it is a dating app for hooking up. That's really what it is. I mean,
Tinder, yeah. There's another one too. It's
Swipe left, swipe right.
yeah. I
What's
mean,
the other one? It's Bumble.
Yeah. Oh,
Right,
that's
yeah.
just for hooking up,
so
right?
if you swipe,
No,
if you
Bumble's the one
swipe-
where the girls have to talk first.
This makes me feel old.
different way of
Something like
communicating, though.
So if you
It's-
swipe,
right?
We'll go with
That's-
that.
Swipe right. That means you're interested.
Yes, swipe right is interested.
And then
I
that means,
believe.
oh my gosh, this guy's interested. So then you reach out to this person because they swipe
Must
right.
be.
So
Must
making
be.
eye contact across the bar is no longer a thing, right?
It
What,
isn't.
Like,
Everybody's
everybody's
not.
all right and swipe.
Everybody's
and
staring at
we're
their
dating.
phones. Who's
We're
making eye
dating.
contact at the bar?
It's
Right.
Nothing.
Go to a restaurant. How many people are looking
I'll
at
tell
their
you what,
phones?
man. I got a buddy who works with me that is single and on Tinder, and it's the most fun video game that I play. It's just swiping.
You live vicariously through.
Absolutely.
Nice.
Hula Girl
amazing.
182.
He's like, here you go, man. Just swipe away.
Are you serious?
Make good choices for me. I'm like,
Weird.
what if I swipe left on your future wife?
Speaking of which, I just said, "Are you serious?" And then
Siri
popped
popped
up.
We had an episode actually when we were in Minnesota, and we were trying to start the show, and Brian kept saying almost the form of Siri, and the communication, his tablet was like, "Ba-ding, ba-ding, ba-ding," and so we
good
couldn't
friend
start the show, or like
Yeah.
we were in the
I had
middle
to
of the
shut
show.
it off.
Here I
yeah.
am defending Cursive, and I said, "Hey Siri," and it pops.
There it is.
I was
Right
at
there.
home. I was at home the other day, and we were talking about where we were going to go. For
Shut up,
dinner.
Siri.
Shut up, Siri. We were talking about where we were going to go for dinner, and I said
Oh, that is the most obnoxious question in the
verbatim,
entire world.
Verbatim, though, verbatim. I said, and I'm doing air quotes right now. I said, let's go to the pizza place. And when I said, Alexa in my kitchen went, I
What do you
can't
mean?
go there. I was like, you snotty little
Yeah.
It's
robot.
So we're never going to go back to Cursive. We're never going to go back to that old antiquated.
I'm going to stay with it because I want to write notes to my
But
wife
you,
and
you
not
were
have
taught
There
that.
you go.
kids
You were taught
read it.
that, and now these kids are not being taught that. Mm-hmm. So I mean, it is a lost art form, and we'll call that an art form,
Yeah.
right?
I mean,
think that-
writing is an art form.
Cursive, I would say, help with your just
Calligraphy
print. Yep.
is
Yeah.
an art form.
I
So
think
why
I have
not
pretty
cursive?
good handwriting.
Yeah.
Do you think you have a good handwriting?
fairly decent.
No,
People can read what I
my
write.
handwriting is awful.
I have very.
It's
good
legible, but awful.
Okay, so how many of you write like cursive, manuscript, print,
Just
whatever?
regular writing.
handwriting.
like-
All caps. I think I have very good handwriting
Well,
Yeah.
I would think in your job, like you're writing notes on
every day.
notes and little
Right.
scripts
yeah,
of paper.
and
or
I've
whatever.
got to keep track of clients, so I'm writing every day.
You're writing on tape.
The only place that I write,
tape on boards, board tape.
the only place that I write is on a whiteboard, and my writing
Very
is,
quickly.
is awful.
And you wanna
right?
do it as fast as possible.
Oh yeah, it's awful. Only I can read it.
So why would you say, if there is, maybe there isn't?
Is there any of that left?
You can say there's no reason.
I doubt it.
Yeah, there is.
I know
Is there
there
really?
was.
Why would you
I
say,
knew there was.
Why do you think your
Stop,
handwriting
stop. There's other people that would want some of
is?
this.
Oh, there's plenty.
Here. Oh, there's plenty.
Oh.
There you go. Fair enough.
I've had this once or twice. So, why would you think your handwriting is terrible, awful?
Why would I think that?
I mean-
because people tell you.
Well, no, like you recognize it, so
Well, I mean, I've seen it. You know,
It's his own
the
shorthand.
letters just get smushed,
See?
and
Give
I
me your
don't
cup and
I-
you
because I
you
write-
gave me the most.
because I'm trying to write
I
too
want it.
fast.
I don't want the.
I'm trying to write
so
too
those
fast, and I'm not necessarily writing in cursive.
Okay.
It just, oh man, it just gets smashed. You know, it's like someone stepped on it. But I have an employee who is a dude just like the rest of us, and his handwriting is horrible. However, he in college took a drafting class through an architecture program, and when he chooses to, he writes perfect block lettering with perfect 90-degree angles and in perfectly straight lines, like measured out. And I'm like, how? Where?
Like aerial?
What is that? Like
aerial?
How's that even possible? Where does it even come from?
So Mariah just texted, or she sent this over via text message on our
your
program.
communication skills right now, Britt, are not doing well.
She said calligraphy rocks.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Calligraphy is a real thing.
It is a real thing.
Awesome.
Here's the thing: we had an employee who no longer works with us anymore, but I sit in the office that he used to sit in, and I find things that were written by him, and I frankly can't read them. I'm like, what language is it? This is like...
And he's like, it's calligraphy. It's not a different language.
Well, yeah, that's it. To him, totally legible, totally could read it. To me, it was a foreign language. I couldn't understand what he was writing.
So I learned calligraphy in junior high.
It wasn't calligraphy. It was his own calligraphy.
Oh, gotcha.
It was his handwritten calligraphy that was just for him,
well,
which actually is kind of a good thing if you're having clients into your thing and you have notes laid out. They couldn't read them.
Well, and even with
form of secrecy.
Exactly, it's a form of secrecy for sure.
Even with cursive, there was different forms of cursive, like Mike was saying earlier in the program. You know, the Declaration of Independence and the
also is the pen that you use. I mean, back when the Declaration of Independence was used, it was a feather, dipped in ink.
I'm talking. I'm talking pure style, man.
Yeah.
Not. Calligraphy is completely different.
I'd say that was a style.
Calligraphy isn't cursive.
A chicken hen feather
calligraphy's
dipped
like
in ink.
Calligraphy is
that's
like
the way they read it, like boop, boop, boop.
Calligraphy is like a learned skill with a specific type of pen.
It's like whiter, and you know the strokes are different. Like you can have a thin stroke or a thick stroke. And
back when the Independence was written, they were dipping it in ink, and so I'm sure there's ink blots from time to time.
It was cursive, but it's a different form of cursive than what we learn today.
Oh yeah, was it?
Did they
1700s, 1600s?
Did they have like block print then, or was everything in cursive? Was there anything in block print?
When was the printing press invented, Mr. Hurst?
Ooh. If only we had a device connected to the wealth of human
knowledge. If only.
Why was cursive invented?
Newsies.
Yeah, well,
Brian, did you look that up? Why cursive was invented?
Probably cursive was first and then print, because books needed to be put into print, and you couldn't do cursive with block letters that you were putting in for the only
Does it come from England? Does England have cursive?
What cursive
I guess
is,
that'd be a question.
Cursive is manuscript without taking your pen off the paper. That's all it is.
Gotcha.
In fact,
so
if you take a
United States thing.
I don't necessarily know the answer to that question definitively, but
the listeners that are listening right now, if you look that up, that'd be great.
If you took a normal manuscript word that you were going to write and you wrote that word without ever taking your pen off the paper, it would be cursive.
Okay, fair enough.
Just consider like your own name.
Where did it start? I don't know.
Consider your own name and the way that you would write it. If you never took the pen off the paper, and you'd be like, "Oh,
except
look
for
at that.
going to your last name, first name,
cursive, weird, yeah."
I actually, when I actually write in print, I still use some cursive.
Me too.
Letters.
Yeah, there's a couple things like if I'm going to transition from like an R to an I, if I was writing the word Brit, I would write that in cursive unknowingly.
Yeah, my T's would be. It looked like an H almost, but it's T's. Got it. I got you. Interesting question.
Sounds like a. Print off. We should.
We should. I have paper over here. I can make that happen.
Paper. Who writes stuff anymore?
Paper.
That's when you mention sitting down with your kids to do homework. Like, I imagine in my head you have this moment where your kids are like, "Dad, I need help with my homework," and you go, "Okay, well, get out your paper and pencils." And they're like, what?
Okay,
what is the matter with you?
You mean my stylus and my iPad?
No, this is a good point about less print. So math, no matter what, you still need to show your work. Math,
fair point.
And it is a deadgum ransom note.
Writing numbers, like writing the numbers.
Sorry, I'm from Texas.
No, that's
writing numbers and keeping them.
We've had
like,
that beer before.
Oh, the dead gum from RAR. You know where RAR is from?
Dead gum.
Texas.
Dead gum.
It is a ransom note. They're showing their work is terrible.
Oh, yeah.
You can't read it. It's nothing. So the thing is,
But you still have to show it.
It's just numbers, though, right?
Numbers.
I don't know. I can't tell.
Isn't that the universal language?
Wow.
You show your work on math homework is terrible. So I think that's hard to go away unless you're doing it on like a your tablet.
Yeah, but numbers
with
are
your
numbers,
stylus.
right? For like across language barriers, numbers are
I
numbers.
can't imagine
right?
that. So as much we want, as bad as we want to go to digital, we want to turn everything in and email it and PDFs and stuff. Showing your work on math.
Yeah.
How are you going to do that?
How are you going to do some long division without writing that stuff
Because
down?
if
I'm telling you, it's terrible.
if handwriting goes away,
Who here can do long division?
I can. Yeah, I actually taught
Get
my
outta
daughter
here.
how to do that.
Get out of here, Brian.
Anyway,
Pen and paper. You got to show it.
so if handwriting goes away, then we lose that muscle memory of doing it. And then, to your point, how do we show our math?
Yeah.
I should have brought.
That's a very good point. I didn't even think of that.
I should have brought some examples. If I showed it to you, you'd be like, "Is this Egyptian hieroglyphics or sixth grade math?"
Take
Sixth grade math.
take photos, send
in
them
his
over,
basement,
man.
there's actually
It's
Egyptian
new math.
hieroglyphics around here.
Yeah, it's new math.
Or is it sixth grade math?
It's actually Mayan artwork is really what it is.
Mayan.
It does look Egyptian.
Mayan math, yeah. The calendar's around here somewhere.
So I was
It
gonna-
is actually
I was going to
around
bring
here.
up, just to like digress a whole lot. I was going to bring up another dead language. We'll call it Sanskrit.
oh,
Yeah, we
2,000-year-old
we
dead
totally
language?
missed the boat on that. Yeah, it's from like the 2nd century BC, which was the official language of Hinduism. This is
Hey.
the one thing I Wikipedia'd, okay?
good old Wikipedia.
Sanskrit was a language from the 2nd century BC, but it was only for a particular class of people. It was only for the elites. And they spoke and wrote with Sanskrit, and the rest of the population didn't know it or read it or understand it. And then over time, the language itself just fell out of use.
Kind of like shorthand.
Kind of like shorthand, which was a different thing I was going to bring up.
Oh yeah, that's way dead.
Well, I found a notebook full of shorthand one time in my grandma's basement, and it was awesome. And I was like, "Is this real life?" And she was like, "I can read this whole thing."
Was that your nighttime reading?
That's amazing. No, but Sanskrit. So
Burn.
my note on Sanskrit, my only story on Sanskrit was okay. It's a dead language, right? It's a form of communication that completely died off. But that's a language, not a mechanism for. It's not a mechanism for
So
communication.
what constituted a language? Because it wasn't ubiquitous to people; it was to a certain class of people.
Sure, I don't know,
But shorthand is the same thing.
But the
I
thing
mean,
is, if cursive dies off, the English language doesn't go away, right? But Sanskrit is a complete language that's now gone.
Yeah, but-
But I will say this: the reason that I bring it up, and the reason that I have some kind of personal affiliation to it, is my wife and I went to a wedding one time of a very good friend of
Those are
ours,
good, aren't they?
who was an Indian girl, and she was getting married. And so we went to a very traditional Indian Hindu wedding.
right.
And a Hindu wedding recites for like hours upon hours scripts of Sanskrit.
Wow.
And I knew nothing about it. And they're
Interesting.
like, yeah, this is the wedding ceremony in Sanskrit. And so the guy at the front recites all the Sanskrit, but no one knows what it means. And I'm like,
They just recite it.
wait a minute.
How do you even read it?
No one in this room knows what this means. And they're like, no, the guy at the front just reads it because he's the only one capable of reading the language, but they don't know what the words mean.
That's crazy.
But they know that this is the wedding ceremony in Sanskrit, so they read it. That's why it was perfectly socially acceptable for everyone in the room to just be like on their cell phones and get up and leave for a few minutes and come back. And it was the most informal-ish wedding I've ever been to because it's 4 hours long. And no
part of
one
the program.
understands any of the words. And I was like, is this a real thing? It blew my mind. But if you're going to do a traditional wedding, you do it in Sanskrit. So that's what they did. What do I know?
Let's finish these off.
All right.
That's what I'm thinking.
Well, this is the scary thing: is that one of these was a barley wine.
Nope. Still in the fridge.
Okay, I feel better because
You were like,
You're like,
because we have not
did we
had
drink
it yet,
that? How did that happen?
but none of these are full.
I think that we should have a refresher.
Okay, I'm glad you took that because I was losing my mind over here.
No.
I didn't know you took that.
And it's surrounded by bottles in the fridge
well, I
so
thought
that it's
you-
getting colder.
I thought you put the whiskey in there. Was that not the whiskey?
No. Well, yeah, I did, but that we drank that. So, like, I took another one that I found the full one, and I was like,
this whole time I am like, I know I have a full barley wine somewhere.
You don't label any of your cans. You didn't write 1, 2, or 3. We asked you if you wanted the magic marker. I could have gotten it to you.
Well, because I didn't know what was what, because I canned them
it's
all
a lost
off.
form of communication here.
It was. I should have just put an emoji on each can.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh man.
1, 2, 3, 4. You know.
I'm serious. This
how we
was
label
really.
channels.
This is what's been making me sweat the past 2 hours. I don't know where the barley wine went. Did we drink the barley wine and thought it was black
It's
cherry?
in the fridge.
It was delicious.
Yeah. And we can finish on that, but
Yeah,
I wanted a little refresher. I just wanted a little, like, here's this so that we can clear our palates.
Well, I was going to say as we drink this,
I just killed
you
it.
just downed it. That's
Yeah,
no
I
big
did.
deal.
let's do
Nice.
let's do some final thoughts because we need to. Is there a way to solve this? Is it just going to come to an eventual conclusion? Let's just do some final thoughts because we're coming up on 2 hours here and
Nice and cold now.
There it is.
This is my unfortunate opinion, and it's just my gut feeling. My gut feeling and the unfortunate opinion is that... Ooh, last call.
Yeah. For this podcast. There's still the after talk.
Yeah, who knows?
My opinion
We're
is
actually going
that
to go on
it's-
our last drink. This last call could last 10 minutes. Who knows?
For me, it's a foregone conclusion. It's futile. Like,
It's the way
what
it's
are you,
going.
What are you going to do? Resist it? Like,
Resistance
you think
is
you're-
futile.
Do you think you're going to go like lobby in your local
Bring Cursive
school
back.
district to be like bring Cursive back? No, dude. It is done. It
So,
is decided.
I guess my question
It's
would
going
be,
away.
why is this not an episode of Black Mirror yet? I mean,
Well,
seriously.
because Black Mirror focuses on technology and Cursive is not a technology.
But
So
it's
it
a
was-
way of communication.
Yes, but
that's
it's-
the technology.
It's technology in general.
So, as our lot of conversation that we've been talking about on how we communicate and how we get things done, your next form of communication would be seeing a bubble above someone's head about the way they think about you, about the way they will just... They're thinking it. Their phone's linked up to their brain, and it's just like you don't even have to talk to the person. You're like,
Britt, you're getting into a whole nother topic here.
I hate to
I
be
am,
the-
and I'm okay with that because we're still drinking over here.
That was not the
Brian's
question.
Brian's
So-
like, what are you doing?
I hate to be.
What
I
are
hate,
you doing?
I'm
I
always
want to do the
technology
techie guy.
I'll always be the technology guy. Everyone thinks that you're going to get a chip embedded in your arm.
We're just going
right?
to sit back and watch this.
Everyone thinks you're going to get a chip embedded.
Well,
in
there's
your arm.
there's
watch a
businesses
gift
that are
go
already
on.
doing it right now.
There are, but that's not going
Okay.
to be the technology. The technology is going to be QR code. You're going to have a QR code or something that...
Like a tattoo?
yes.
Tattoos are trashy.
UPC. Here's the thing.
Yeah, but not if they're cute and they're in the best spot available for you to
sarcasm.
But the... but
I
the...
got
stand. Oh, I see what you said there.
Says the guy with full sleeve tattoos. There's technology now
This guy.
for augmented reality. The AR technologies, the augmented reality technologies that exist now use AR.
So
use
you've
QR
got your
codes.
Google glasses on, and you just automatically
You
scan
don't even
that.
have to. It's not even going to matter.
It's
You're
just
going to
gonna
have
scan it already.
You're going to have a freaking bionic contact lens that's going to automatically read the QR code that's invisibly written on your forehead. And that is going to when I point my vision at you, it's going to tell me everything about you.
It's on your
and
eyebrow.
all of your
It's gotta be in
communication
the
with-
eyebrow.
in a blurb above your head. Yeah, it's just.
Aren't
gonna
they
be
doing
done.
that in like China or Japan, where you get like social?
So credit. We just talked
Yes,
about that.
social credit.
Yeah,
Oh,
the last
okay.
episode, wasn't it?
Was it all right? Okay,
It
never
was.
mind. Sorry, old news.
No, it's not old news. It was last week.
Not fake news.
No, I was about to say because that's what
saw where
follows.
you're going, yeah.
it was.
Certain
It was
technologies.
3
are-
episodes.
yeah.
So
Anyway.
Mitchell, Cursive.
Yeah, how about that?
How do we solve
I'm
pen
the,
and paper, bro.
I'm the least conservative and least traditional, but man, I still think it has merit, just for the sake of creating motor skills and using that part of the brain. You don't have to use a whole entire year, 2 years.
in a digital society? Where do you think it has its place?
Incorporate somewhere. You think about a lot of things that kids learn throughout school. You're like, that doesn't really have a place down the road. It does. It's going to help somewhere down the line. I think Cursive has its place.
Well, you said pen to paper, and that's gonna go away because ink and actual paper trees are gonna go away. We're not gonna
It's
use
going
that
there.
because you're wasting something.
Britt,
so the cursive is going to go on the tablet.
They told us in the 90s we were going to be a paperless society in
Right.
2000. We are using more paper nowadays than we ever did in the 90s.
because there's more people.
I will say that there is value for me in my day-to-day job. I do very little on paper, but when I do, it's because it matters, and that is when something requires
Documentation.
an ink-based signature where I am required to sign a document
Right.
or write something out where they want to know that I'm the original author and they need the original copy in ink with blue ink, not black, so they can prove that it was done by a pen.
What's
And
a copy,
even-
what's not?
And
then
even so, they take that and put that in the copy machine and go, "Broop, now we have a copy
Sure,
of
but
that."
then they hold the original, right? They hold the original,
Yeah.
and they're like, "We have, like, we're gonna
Lockbox.
chain of custody. We're putting this in a Ziploc bag, and it's not going anywhere."
But
Right.
more importantly, the words that I took from what you just said were that you wrote it out.
Yeah,
Yes.
clearly
Today.
and that
Like happened
my-
in
my-
today's world.
My point and purpose of telling that story is that those are the days when my horrible handwriting shows its ugly face, and I'm so ashamed.
So-
right? And I'm like, man,
We're
come
not getting
on.
into another-
I'm here,
No, we're not
I'm
getting
here
into that topic.
representing. I'm here representing the organization, and this is what it looks like. It's embarrassing.
You going to go home and practice your ABCs?
No,
I don't
I'm
think
not.
he's got to check 3,000 emails.
I'm not.
I'm not getting.
I
into-
will write correctly. I will write correctly. I will.
I'm not getting into another topic. I'm just saying, we talked about checks. We talked about credit cards. We talked about driver's license having signatures that we had to do.
Those are going away, though. I mean, that's old technology.
Taxes. I
Yeah.
have to sign documents for taxes.
Signatures are going to become a new technology.
Home loans, car loans.
Everything's going
Signed
digital.
85 pages.
Yeah, I was just like, once that was brought up, I was like, oh yeah, there is these other things that need to be
You can
signed for.
already today sign documents digitally.
This topic is for our kids. What are our kids going to be doing?
Yeah,
in
exactly. What are
15
they
years?
teaching in schools? Is print going to go away?
No,
That's weird to think about.
no, like print media,
No, not print media. Actually learning how to
like
write it.
learning how to
Did
write.
they think?
I mean, because you can read it without knowing how to write it.
I'm in 20.
It's like drawing a picture, right?
At some
You
point,
can point
yes.
your phone at it, and it's going to read it back to you, and you're like,
At some point,
that's
yes, it will go
you're
away.
talking
Like-
about a car loan, and that's what I wanted to know about.
The demise of cursive now is the precursor to the demise of written manuscript
that's-
print.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's
that's what I
kind
was
of
saying earlier.
that's where I was going.
But here's the thing. You or the average listener might be thinking 30, 50,
no.
70 years. Moore's Law. You talked about the dramatic advancement of technology.
How quickly
over
things are
time.
changing.
No. You're talking about the demise of print written manuscript.
Mind if I put this over ice?
5 to 10.
Because when we actually lose the ability to write it, it's like think of drawing a picture. How many people out there could actually draw? And I'm not talking stick figure, but could draw a person. Not like, hey, this has some.
like Pictionary? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. Okay. Let's go with Pictionary.
I can draw.
Yes, but can you draw well enough to where somebody could interpret what you are actually drawing? Not in a game, but like, no, that actually is not a generality of a person, but is like this one specific person.
Yeah.
So,
1 out of 4.
yeah. So, but is that something that you practice from time to time?
I all the time as a kid. All the time. I love drawing.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get on to our last drink here, which is a barley wine. Is that what you were telling me? That you had
Tenth
lost
Sanctum.
this for a while?
I didn't realize
lost
you took
in
it.
communication.
Gosh, I didn't realize you took it. I
looked right into your eyes and said, I'm going to make this cold. And you're like, yeah, good
I thought that was the
whiskey.
the whiskey.
Me too.
No, well,
I thought it was the whiskey as well.
I did
3 out of
both.
4 people.
When you review this video and go back, you're like, oh, I did see that he talked to me about that.
I remember it, but I thought it was the whiskey.
All the cans are the
Because
same.
the whiskey I took right at the beginning, and I put that in there.
Okay.
Right at the beginning.
Anyway.
The second one, I was like, "This is your barley wine. Let's make that."
I don't remember that part.
Make it just a little colder.
There's a part, if you review it, I'm doing this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh my gosh, did we drink the barley wine?
Not yet. Not yet. And here
All right.
it is.
We're going to end this talk on the barley wine.
I love it. I put it over ice. I don't know about you guys.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, barley wines are heavy hitters, man.
Ooh,
That's a
but
lot
it's
of-
nice. It's nice. It's
Rich.
It's not as
warm.
alcohol forward as most barley wines that I've drank.
easy going.
that means you're in stage 9. If you don't feel that, you're like, no, this is light.
No, it's very heavy on the alcohol.
Yeah, this is.
But I'll be honest, it tastes like a very flavorful beer. Using the word wine doesn't strike me.
I wouldn't start off with this.
No, but we've started off with much heavier stuff. So this is super complex. It's malty. It's toffee, bread crust. It's got a lot going on.
And that's what I'm getting more than
caramel,
the alcohol. I'm getting more of the flavor than the alcohol.
I think it's all kind of there, but
it's all there.
You know what?
It's all there.
So barley wines are interesting.
What made you bring this?
I was looking what's on tap, and I'm like, hey, what would be interesting, be fun to finish up with? And this one's really changed. So barley wines in general, including Berkways, over time will mellow out, kind of lose that harshness and sharpness, and that hot alcoholic and kind of smooth out and mellow out. And this one is. When it was fresh, even Sierra Nevada, which I think most people who drink beer and craft beer drinkers
No Sierra Nevada.
Yeah. Everybody knows
Especially
Sierra
if you're going for your beer judge certification.
Yeah. So Ken Grossman, the founder, owner, it's Bigfoot barley wine. He says, hey, don't drink this fresh. Yeah. He says, don't drink my product now, because he wants you to age it. And it'll kind of because it has really sharp edges. Most barley wines like this one, fresh, really sharp edges, but over time will kind of mellow out, and everything kind of plays together nicely.
What do you mean by sharp edges? Help me out here.
Like really sharp and hot alcohol, and it's just kind of like just like
hits you in the throat, like
it's just like it's too much. It's too much.
All right.
But this one has a couple months on it, and it's just kind of like it's smooth. It's kind of like this richness.
It is smooth.
Mm-hmm.
And so it has like all this nice maltiness and this sharp alcohol, but the thing is, it plays together nicely now.
See, and that's kind of where I was going with
Versus
what I said about the alcohol content.
Contrasting, yeah.
On
it doesn't taste like it. But,
exactly. Most barley wine that I've had before is very alcohol forward.
Yeah. So when this came out fresh, it was like in your face. You're like, ooh, I could start a fire with this.
Yeah. If I burn, don't do it near an open flame.
But that's not uncommon. A lot of barley wines do that.
So I'm an amateur at this.
Okay.
But for me, this is like a differently flavored pale ale. Is that weird?
It'd be more like a really hopped up alcoholic pale that's super malty and caramely.
Yeah, that's accurate.
Heavy malt flavored
Weirdly,
pale
the
ale.
brewer got it right.
Almost every beer in a sense is they're all cousins somehow. So
that's his language. That's his
cursive. It made sense. It made sense though.
Cursive,
a lot of our recipes do not pick up the pen. They just kind of keep going, and we just keep adding to it. And barley wines have really long malt bills.
Yeah, you're using the same hop strains. You're using the same yeast strains.
You know what's interesting to me is a lot of times when I drink alcohol, like I said, I don't brew. I don't know this stuff. I just drink it. But a lot of times when I have a drink and you nose it, getting your nose into it and smelling it will really give you an indication of what it tastes like. And this is not
an indication.
I could hold my nose in here for 10 minutes and you're not going to get the flavor.
We did kind of go from a whiskey back to
We've been all
beer.
over the place.
Yeah, we have. Yeah. We did probably not go in the correct order.
No.
Close, but it's been kind of like a roller coaster. We've pretty much wrecked our palates.
We've laughed. We've cried.
We have.
Good times.
Good times.
Any more Girl Scout cookies around?
That was an interesting night.
That was a fun night.
It was a good night.
I went back and listened to that episode.
Those of you that have watched this program know what we're talking about.
Mitchell was with us on a Girl Scout episode.
I remember that, yes, but I'm just talking about the viewers of this episode.
Was that the red can night?
That one right there.
The one
the
where
green can, the red sled.
Oh, but that was the one where I went to work and
yes, the
didn't
next
do so well.
Yeah,
might have. They don't need to know that though.
It's a funny story, but all right.
We'll do the we'll talk about that in the after talk. So, as we drink this barley wine, let's do some final thoughts because we need to wrap this one up, and then we'll get into the after talk.
Right.
Absolutely. My final thought on having.
Do we solve it?
No, it's going to go away. It is, Brian. There's no going back.
You don't need to convince me. I'm just saying.
There's
what are your final thoughts?
My final thought is cursive is going away, just like some of the Japanese languages.
Kanji
is going away. things will go away, but things will replace them. Emojis will replace them. Emails will replace
We're
them.
going to speak in poop emojis. That's gross.
Come on, grow up, Brian.
It's a thing, right?
If only
It's not a Hershey Kiss.
my voice to text could emoji it as I'm saying it, which, there's another program. You just say it, and it already emojis it as it's saying it.
That's a real thing.
Apple already has that.
That's already a thing.
Oh, well, I'm an Android guy.
Yeah.
So,
when you type it or say it, it actually brings up the emojis that you can.
He's an Android guy.
Oh.
hey, but I have
three
a Mac,
out of 4 people are not.
I remember 2005.
I've got a I got a MacBook Pro running this entire place, so I'm still Mac a little bit.
He's delving in the world.
So I would say, what you say, are we going to solve it? Solve
You say.
what?
Solve
Right?
what?
Solve what? The demise of cursive in the academic curriculum. I don't think.
Well, not necessarily
I don't
cursive, but I mean communication in general. That's what
I was
this
going to
was
say.
about.
I don't know that that's necessarily the problem. Like, we're not here, arguing that we believe
It's
that,
not a problem.
that cursive should stay forever.
How about verbal communication between people?
It's the demise of
that is a
communication,
problem.
right? It's the demise of overall communication, written, verbal, and otherwise. Communication is our general trajectory as a society.
We should have called this episode
inaccurate.
"What You Say." What you say?
You say what?
You say what? There you go. You say what?
And is the overall trajectory bad for communication, written, verbal, whatever? I don't know. Are emojis worse than cursive?
They help convey more inflection or emotion.
To convey what it is you're trying to
Yes
communicate
and
to another
no.
person?
Yes and no.
Man, I don't know. I
Lipstick.
I would not.
Curly-haired blonde girl.
I would not.
Lady in a dress spinning.
Okay.
You're like,
All
what
I'm
did
gonna
she
say
just say to me?
All I'm going to say is I would not
What did she
dare.
just say?
I would not dare to presume that I had the right answer for that problem.
Mm-hmm. And for an example, Britt, if I texted you sure, or if I texted you thumbs up,
I'd take both as you got it.
depends on how I wrote sure.
Depends on the context.
No.
And the gender of the sender. I'm sticking with that.
I gave
man.
you a thumbs
I'm making
up
that a
today.
bumper.
You did. And in
I like the word.
flesh tone, not the Simpsons thumbs up. It was
it's
a
not. It's more like
Here's what I use.
Shout
put
out
some
to
thought in
Apple.
them.
Shout out to Apple for having different
flesh
skin
tones.
tones.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Here's what I use.
I use that all the time, actually.
So
Yeah, that's important.
you were trying to relay the information that you got it.
Mhm.
You know what I put? Copy.
Yeah, he does.
10
Or
for-
Roger.
Or Roger.
Roger.
I use that term. Like,
Yeah.
I got it. Got you.
The-
I see what
The
you put. Thank you.
nerdiest guy in the room.
Yeah, right.
I
I use walkie-talkies.
My brother is arguably nerdier
Cappy.
or as nerdy as me, and he will say, my brother will send me a text message that says sin, S-Y-N, and I will respond with
Sign? Cosine?
No, S-Y-N,
Tangent?
and then I will respond with synac, and he will respond with ac, and then I will respond with fin, which is the TCP/IP three-way handshake of establishing a TCP connection for. Never mind. Doesn't matter. That's how computers talk to each other.
Nerd alert.
We just went there.
That's how computers talk to each other.
Exactly.
Oh, man.
You might as well just say 11001101110011.
It's basically that.
Wow.
I could actually,
And I don't know what I just said there.
I could actually break down the text message exchange into that. And
My
it would be-
father-in-law actually has a binary
on,
clock.
off, on, off, off, on, off.
There's no shame in that.
Yeah. All right. So my final thoughts on it are that if we start to break down written,
Well-
like actually written communication, that it's gonna. And I look more into the future, not the
I embrace change. I'll say that. I'll embrace change, even though it's not closed yet. It's not closed at all.
Yeah.
Well, maybe this episode's closed, but
The episode is closed.
Yeah, the episode is close. I think that getting rid of actual written communication is not a good thing in schools. I think they need to take some time to do that, whether it's print, cursive, whatever, doesn't matter. But there needs to be some pen to paper.
art form.
kind of
There needs to be art form.
pen to paper.
If you're going to get rid of the music in schools, if you're going to get rid of art in schools, at least have a gateway to a art form, which is signatures, or not signatures, but calligraphy, or
not even that so much for me. Is just like actually learning how to write, like our actual language, rather than just punching it into a keyboard.
Wow, hold on. You remember the way we used to write on walls, chiseled?
Where are we going with this?
Egyptian
Caveman.
Cavemen used to write on walls, used to chisel it out, and we're getting rid of that.
Yeah, we got rid of that a while ago.
Pen to paper, it's kind of like writing.
It's a lot less than chiseling it out of.
I'm just saying.
Of sandstone.
Just a mechanism.
We're really breaking it down right now is what I'm just trying to say.
I think
I figured I'd try to maybe trigger something in somebody's mind.
Went on a weird tangent there. Mitchell?
Oh, man. Once again,
how do you follow that?
Once again, I feel like the old guy who tells kids to get off their lawn, but it's just like, I think it has its merit. I don't want it to go away. I don't want my kids to not know how to do it.
Write things down.
I feel like getting rid of cursive is like the gateway drug to just be like eliminate all of written communication.
Agreed.
I think it'd be terrible.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, you're good.
There's a level here where we don't want our kids to not know how to write cursive, because cursive is a skill and it has value to us for sure. And because we interact with the next generation, and our children are going to get jobs and they're going to interact with people in their workplaces who are in our generation, just like, generations interact in the workplace today. We have to take classes on it, like in
generation gap.
Yeah, the generation gap. Where they cross, and so we want our kids to have that skill as a step up, right, or a thing to put on your resume. I write in cursive. That's maybe an overstep, but will our kids care? Will our kids care if their kids can write in cursive? Probably not. Like, we care because we can do it, right? And it's something of value to us.
So after this program, we're all going to get together and we're going to write letters to each other, and we're going to put it in a time capsule and bury it in the backyard.
Britt, will you be my pen pal?
Yeah. Ooh, remember those?
Bazinga.
Pen pals.
Yeah,
nice bring up. I like that.
I'm going to write you a thank you note.
Junk mail.
Wow.
Well, that's a thing of the past. When I think of a written letter, I think of World War I, World War II, where their penmanship was writing to their loved one. Yeah. That's not going to happen anymore. There's not going to be any written letters anymore. It's all just going to be text and digital based form. Letters will go away.
Yep.
Why would you have to mail something? Oh man, that brings up a whole nother subject of mail's just going to go
USPS.
mailing.
Postal service.
Mailing something,
Bye-bye.
You don't need to do that anymore.
Well, letters, but actual,
parcels.
Parcels will still happen.
The idea that the postal service was based on the idea of a actual physical post is like gone, right? That's just entertaining to think of it as a post.
Yeah.
Go to the post.
I think that's another good topic for future. We were just talking about it today with my fiance. Was more. They said, "Hey, this so and so band, they're coming out with a new record." I'm like, "How many kids?"
They don't call it. Do they still call it records?
Yeah, on the radio they said they're coming out with a new record. I'm like, "How many kids?"
I get album. I get album.
What age? Like, would they even know what a record is? Like, what? Just those phrases.
My son knows what records are because I'm raising him the right way.
There's all kinds of fun.
Because you're a DJ.
There's all kinds of fun things though, like hang up the phone. What the hell does that mean?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Hang up the phone.
Yeah.
Hang it on what?
What does that even mean?
Do you remember the raw emotion that it took when you got angry in a conversation on the phone
to
just
phone.
like
to slam the phone?
Yeah. Nobody gets that anymore. It's like
I think it's a great topic is bringing up those phrases that don't exist anymore.
You're right. Yeah.
But they're still used.
Hey,
and
Dad,
they'll never be used.
Dad, will you tape this?
Yeah, tape it.
What?
What?
Yeah,
sure.
Can you wrap your head around the fact that, like, in our lifetime, like, you had to place a phone call and somebody had to be in the right place at the right time to receive that
the phone call.
because we didn't have ways of communicating.
And if they didn't answer, it was like, well,
I tell my daughter
leave a
that
message
now.
on their answer machine if that was available.
I just told my daughter recently about college how I had a calling card and I had a phone and I had to we had to plan, and because we didn't all the stuff, and she's just staring at me like
1-800-COLLECT.
like I'm speaking a different
You're
language.
receiving
Remember
a
the commercials?
collect
Yeah,
call
those commercials.
The commercials for 1-800.
Yeah, it's like how the baby it's a boy. It's like
That's
Will,
awesome.
you have the
Had a
son.
baby, it's a boy. Yeah,
It's like that's great.
My name is Wihadabe.
it's a boy.
Be eats a boy.
It's a
Baby,
boy. You know what commercial I'm talking
I
about?
do.
That's
Sure.
great.
Sure.
Yeah.
Clearly, I know it.
How the baby it's a boy.
All right.
All right, we're gonna end this one. We're not
That
gonna.
was a lot of fun, boys.
It
wasn't
was. It was fun. We're not going to solve it because it's just coming.
It's coming. It's gonna go away.
This
It
is,
will.
This is more of a bringing this to light episode because usually what we found is we talk about it and it happened. We see it in the news.
If we
afterwards.
talk about it in like
It's
3 weeks
just
later,
what it
it's
is.
like people are talking about it. They're like, yeah, we talked about that 3 weeks ago. You should
Wow.
check it out.
Drink Talk setting trends.
It
know.
has been for
That's accurate.
years now.
Well, I don't think there's enough room in here.
for his head. Is that?
Yeah, that's exactly
We're
right.
on our second year. Come on now, leave me alone.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us. We've been talking on the what did we label this one? Texting.
Goodbye signatures. something
Texting your skills away.
Yes, texting your skills away. I mean, we went through several iterations of the name on this
Sad
one.
face emoji.
Thumbs down.
Go use sadtrombone.com.
Yeah, one tear in your beer.
Yeah. Who's actually LOL'd
Oh,
out loud?
We all just did. It was LOL'd out loud. Gross.
oh, awesome.
Come on, man.
I know. I was trying to be funny. but
What's
it
your name,
wasn't.
Brian?
I forget. Brian.
All right, I'm Britt.
Mitchell.
All right,
Mike.
Thanks
All
for
right.
joining us.
have a good night. Ah.